having trouble finding like all the necessary ones. Oh, it's under music.
We are live. I normally tell you. I didn't this time.
It's okay. Music and sound.
I'm okay. All right.
Finally!
That's an important one. You need that, and that's about it.
For $1.
All right. I want by guest post on your blog. That sounds like spam to me. All right, let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Go Nintendo podcast, Webisode 872, the Nickit podcast. I'll handle the podcast today, Deux, since you're already on the soundboard.
Thank you.
Light applause because it's Pokemon. 872, Nickit. Aided by the soft pads on its feet, it silently raids the food stores of other Pokemon. It survives off its ill-gotten gains. It's 2 feet. It's 19 pounds, male and female. It is a fox Pokemon. Its abilities include Run Away, which enables a sure getaway from wild Pokemon, and Unburden, which boosts the speed stat if the Pokemon's held item is used or lost.
Unbelievable!
I felt the same way, buddy, or was, whatever the hell we're supposed to call you. For those who are here or join us live today on this random show day, thanks for joining. It's completely random. Scheduling issues, I'll explain in a second. First, let me say hi to Deux. Hello, Deux. Glad you're here to do this show with me. Kirby knows the show is today. We haven't heard from Kirby. We talked about, when did we talk about this? Earlier in the week?
Yeah.
Like at least 3 days, right?
Yeah, at least.
So I don't want to pester him. If he's busy, he's busy. I completely understand. It's a random Friday at 2:00, but we never heard anything from him. We're supposed to see him tonight, too.
Maybe he doesn't know then, because yes, you did send him a text message in our group text message, but he never got back. So maybe he, God forbid,
Counterpoint.
Didn't get it. He
doesn't often get back in texts. Like if there's other group texts where there's messages, you don't usually hear from him. But if you do, it'll be days later. Also, he left his hat here a week and a half ago.
Oh, like your hat.
So you think he'd come for his hat. But like I said, we're supposed to see him later tonight. We're going to the movies with the man.
Oh, he's coming
to
the movie. Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, now there's no excuse, I don't think. Unless something, like I said.
Is that the laptop?
I can't wait till we throw his hatless butt in jail.
Yeah, you didn't show up to the podcast. Your hat's mine. Hello. Hello, Josh Grobot, my friend. How are you doing on this Friday? This lovely Friday afternoon.
Hello to my fans.
Thanks for joining us early, Josh. I know you got a busy schedule as well, so we appreciate it.
I'm feeling so great. Thanks for asking.
I'm glad you're feeling great. I was just about to ask you. And of course, hello, George. Thanks for joining us Friday. I hope you're feeling lime today.
I am buongiorno. Feeling lime and in chime.
That's what they say. And hello to those of you who were nice enough to join us.
That story was boring and dumb.
On Friday, like Steve Irwin, RIP, who says, can't stay long as I'm visiting my parents and smelly old dog Maisie this weekend. Look at Maisie.
Oh,
this podcast goes out to Maisie. Beautiful old dog. Hello, TKO. Nintendo. Oh, my God. Nintendo. Sorry about that. And Dre Gamer, who says, oh, Guardians, it's very good. Well, I hope so, because I've had my tickets since the day they went on sale. So I'm down. Hello, Joe Shabadoo, who says it's Friday. It's time to party with your host, RMC. And with him, as always, is Deux. Party on, RMC. Party on, Deux. Rex Souza, Anastasia Beaverhausen, who just woke up from a nap. That's great. NicoDarunia, who we've got a question from. Ice Dilbert, Get-Go Kitsune. Ghost Pants, thanks for the Mario emoji. Boy, I'm like an old man. Hello, Malik Halo. Ice Dilbert, by the way, beautiful cat up there.
Thank you!
Hello, Super Blast X. Oh, Super Blast X is recovering from tonsillitis. Well, we're sorry to hear that. Hope you're feeling good. Just kick back in your bed or the couch, wherever you are. Listen to us be idiots. And as I hinted at, I think it's going to be a juicy show, at least the beginning, because I'm ready to juice. I'm ready to squeeze the juice loose. There's something I want to talk about. You guys have already seen me talk about it. I talked about it in more in depth on Patreon this week, but I'm going all out, or I'm going as all out as I feel comfortable with. at the start of the show. MomBrain is at work, obviously. It's 2:00. She's a teacher. She's going to try. She thinks she's coming home regular time, and she will join the show depending on when she gets home. So look forward to that, as I always do. I will juice you, Ghost Pants. You got it. All right. So as you've probably heard this week, lots of Zelda talk going on, and not related to, oh, the game's coming out, I'm excited. And the game did leak, so people have seen everything. It's true, we're not posting leaks on GoNintendo. This is not a story about leaks, as in I'm not sharing details. You are spoiler free. Don't worry, I would never do that to you. Also, I have only confirmed that the game leaked online. I did not dive into the information because I don't want to know it. But there's this whole thing going on. Problem. And hi, Solamaster Link. I always appreciate that GIF every week. I'm going to talk about this, but I'm going to remain professional, but I'm going to be more open than usual. I will try to answer some questions if I can and I feel comfortable, but it's a topic worth discussing. And it starts off with the leak. So like I said,
starts now.
Tears of the Kingdom leaked online. Somebody got the game early and they ripped it and uploaded it online. And, now Piracy.
What are you thinking?
Piracy ahoy. So lots of people are out there playing the game. They've downloaded an illegal copy and they are emulating it on their PC or Switch or what have you. And it is what it is. Nintendo's trying to get videos removed and all that. So not having a fun time. But the game leaks. Let's put that aside. Here's the other side of things. As you no doubt know, the gaming press gets early review copies of games, and that works for all publishers and developers. If you are a member of the gaming press and you can verify your credentials to more or less degree, depending on whatever the person wants or whatever the company wants, they'll look into your statistics, or they'll just verify through an email, or they'll be like, okay, I believe you. Whatever. It differs between companies. Obviously, it differs a lot between indie companies and traditional big name third parties. But a game comes out, whatever it may be, or a game is coming out. And as an outlet, you would like to have hands-on or previews or reviews for whatever the embargo might be. So you try and get in touch. I've done it a bazillion times. I have a bazillion PR contacts at a whole bunch of companies. I will say Nintendo, in my experience, is the most difficult to work with. And that's only gotten worse. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong. They handle things the way they do. I can't explain it. After 18 years of running a site, I can't explain it. And this is a shared sentiment between everyone in the gaming press. Nobody understands how Nintendo operates when it comes to review copies. I want to remain
sons of bitches
professional. This isn't like they should do this and they should do that. There's a whole conversation
I'm fed up with this world.
I want to get into. So, as you may know, depending on how long you've been around GoNintendo, we used to get early copies of games before they came out. We would do our reviews for the embargo date. It hasn't been like that in a long time. It ended with Super Mario Odyssey, or it ended before Super Mario Odyssey. Here's what I do know for sure. Whatever Mario and Luigi game came out on 3DS at that time, a member of the press took their press copy and leaked it online. That's what I know.
Oh my God!
Do I know who it was? I think I do, but I'm not sure. That's not the point, though. That's what happened. Not surprisingly, Nintendo was very angry about that. Now, again, I should say that, I should be completely open and honest and say Nintendo has not confirmed any of this information to me. Anything I share is my opinion. This is anecdotal evidence because unless Nintendo confirms or denies, we don't have the definitive statement or proof. I'm just saying I've worked in the industry for a long time. I've talked to a lot of people. This is a general consensus among most of the gaming press. But we reported on at the time the thing that went down with Mario and Luigi because it was a leak. It got online and then the whole thing ensued. So that's what happened. Nintendo got angry, obviously. All this makes sense. All this isn't anything revelatory. But from that point on, that is like a point I can put in a calendar, a date where Nintendo changed how they handled early review copies. They still gave them out, but they completely changed how they gave them out and to who they gave them out, whatever outlets. Now, how did they change it? I don't know. And I've tried for 5 years to find out. I've reached out to my point of contacts and been like, is there any way I could get back to where I was? And
That's not possible.
yeah, they've never said it's not possible. And they've only said, just keep doing what you're doing and send us what you're doing. And it's always a topic of conversation for each game. Do I believe that? I don't know. My PR people, I'm sure, are trying. That's true. But, 5+ years on, nothing's changed. So I don't know. I don't know. But
I understand.
I've gone nuts being like, is it because I posted about this story? Is it traffic? Is it topics of discussion on the podcast? Like every angle, and everything has been like, nope, it's not because of this.
Question.
Everything's great here. Everything's great here. We really like this thing. Here's the other thing. I would never tailor news to Nintendo's whims. Like, oh, dear Nintendo, I want press copies. Tell me what to report on. There have been stories where Nintendo's like, hey, we don't like that. And I'm like, okay, I was in the wrong there. I can yank that. And other stories where I've been like, no, I stand by that. It's staying.
Not
so,
even close.
give and take with all of it. So I want to say, like, I'm not like, oh, Nintendo. If Nintendo was like, well, if you do this, that, and the other thing, we'll give you early review copies. Depending on what those things are, I would do it. If they're like, not like never say anything bad about Nintendo or don't review games negatively, things within reason, like how I handled reports on piracy. I will still always tell people that games are pirated because it's important information. But if they're like, hey, refrain from using a link that could potentially point people where to download that stuff, okay, I can do that because I don't really like pointing that stuff anyway either. And you guys know how I feel about piracy. This is all hypotheticals. I just want to stress the point. I would never change my content just to get Nintendo's early review copies. I will report the news as I feel is important and fair and without opinion when it comes to news. Opinions are for here on the podcast or reviews.
I have spoken.
So that's all that thing. Now we get to Tears of the Kingdom. Again, in my opinion, based on evidence that I've gathered on my own and multiple sources I've talked to, not at Nintendo, so not confirmed by Nintendo, but with Tears of the Kingdom, it appears Nintendo has gotten even stricter with early access to review copies. How are they handling this? I don't know. How are they deciding who gets what? I don't know. But there has been a tightening on review copies. Is it just for Tears of the Kingdom, or is this a new thing going forward? I don't know. I can't tell you because I got no clue. But I can tell you, having spoken to multiple other outlets that usually get early stuff have not gotten early stuff. And again, that's Nintendo's right. They can do that. I'm not like, I did this, I did that, they did this, they did that. How come they got this and I don't get that? That's not what I'm saying here. Nintendo, it's their game. They can do whatever they want. Doesn't have to make sense to anybody. I might not like it. Other outlets might not like it, but it's Nintendo. It's their games. It's their company. Run it how you want. So, yes, other outlets have not gotten the game early as they expected based on previous coverage of all other Nintendo games. And they're all trying to figure out why. Now, why am I talking about all this? Well, as you might have seen, there's been a lot of hubbub online about these review copies. Now, I'm not going to name outlets in general. I know everybody thinks I'm talking about one outlet in particular. And I am talking about that outlet, but I'm talking about many others you don't know that aren't going to have reviews for when the embargo lifts. When is the embargo? I don't know. Before Friday on next week. So there are other outlets besides the one everybody knows that I'm talking about that are not getting the codes early. Maybe they'll get day one. I don't know. We'll get day one. I think we'll get day one. Who knows anymore? But some outlets have remained quiet publicly. Other outlets have decided to speak about it publicly, and they can do that. But I feel they have not handled it in a professional way at all. They have just basically put together features that are like, wah, this isn't fair. We should get this. We get this many readers, or we do this kind of coverage, or we have this long-standing relationship. This is unfair.
Who do you think you are?
So they put together articles, and they put together social media responses and videos. And here's what I will say. I understand the frustration. I do, because I've been there and I've lived it for the last 5+ years. I understand.
I understand.
I get it, that it's frustrating because A, you think you're doing everything right. B, when you reach out to make sure you're doing everything right, everything is approved of. C, you have all the data to back up your claims and things don't change. I get the frustration. It's one of those things where you have to be like, it's out of my hands. I have done everything I can. I am proud of the work I've done, and the support is there. Best you can do. Still, you feel it in the pit of your stomach. You're like, oh, I wish this, I wish that. But it is what it is. You go on. For outlets, big name outlets, to basically bitch and moan publicly and be like, it shouldn't be like this. I don't mind an outlet saying, listen, an outlet can say whatever they want, but I don't mind an outlet being like, here's the situation. Here's why we're not getting the game early. We wish we could cover it for you. We will have coverage at launch as quickly as possible and as thoroughly as possible. That's fine. Tell your readers you're not going to get it. I got no problem with that. But to be like, this shouldn't be, I don't know why we're blacklisted. Do they not know our audience? Do they not know how far our reach is? Do they not know our the importance of our voice in the industry? Like, let's have a little bit of let's take a more humble approach here. Just,
May the rats eat your eyes!
For lack of a better word, embarrassing. I'm not saying again that they can't do it, that they shouldn't do it. It's just surprising to see that when they're faced with adversity, they automatically default to like being like a little kid in middle school about it, just like whining and complaining and crying. Now, I know there's outlets, again, I'm not naming names. I know there's outlets who've shared things on social media that were considered very hot takes, and many were offended by, and some called racist. I know, I've seen it. I'm not naming names, but if you know, you know. Was it racist? Not for me to decide. I will say personally, I looked at it and I was like, yikes, did they post this and not think it was going to come across like this? It's possible. I've posted things before where I never posted anything where it's viewed as racist, but I have posted things before where they were seen in a light that I would have never imagined. And I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing. And I apologized for it. It's not what happened here. A lot of people were like, this is racist.
The news outlet posted a racist thing towards Nintendo.
So not the news outlet. One of the people that works for the outlet. I want to say it was like someone way high up on the totem pole posted it.
Like a tweet or like on their
It was
website?
a tweet. It was a
Okay.
tweet. Yeah. But you know, they represent the site. And then they removed it because backlash was
Mhm.
quick. And I saw it and I was like, whoo, this is rough. Did they really not see it in this light? But I will give them the benefit of the doubt. You could say that's wrong for me to do. But like I've said, I posted things and they were taken away that I never even imagined. And I apologized for it and I took it down. I don't think this person has apologized for it, but they did take it down. But they kind of were like, it was kind of like a move where they hid from it. Again, I'm not up to date as of today. I was very busy today. Things could have changed. I'll retract my statements. But it is what it is, what it is, what it is. So it's a whole crazy thing going on right now. So the game leaks, Nintendo's angry. The press is not getting the copies as they usually would, or some of the press aren't. Some of them still are. Obviously, we'll find out on day one. Oh, and here's the other thing. I didn't even mention this, and this is another huge part. Hi, Kufu. Good to see you. Some outlets, and again, I'm not here to name names. I'm just making it known. And you know what? Good on some other press people out there who have said this on social media, their personal accounts. Some outlets, because they are not getting Tears of the Kingdom early and have decided, well, that's just wrong. We should be getting it early. They have decided to pirate the game. So they are pirating the game, playing a pirated copy. How are they going to release content? If you put out your coverage, be it a review or whatever, day and date when Nintendo's embargo is, Nintendo knows who they sent a copy to and who they didn't. That outlet could be like, we got it from a mom and pop shop. It's going to be Nintendo's burden to prove that, I guess. But Nintendo's not stupid either. They're going to be like, oh, 8 people got it from a mom and pop shop and they posted their content when the embargo lifted. You know, I don't know. But I will say 100%. This is not like, I think this is happening. This is I know this is happening. Some outlets have pirated the game because they're like, we deserve to have the game. And if Nintendo's not going to give it to us, we'll just steal it because we can't miss out on the content. I know how much it sucks missing out on the embargo deadline for a review because that's when everybody's going to look. That's when everybody's going to read. That's when everybody gets their traffic. I know, I get it. But that's not, in my opinion, a reason to pirate the game because you're like, Nintendo, how could they do this to us? I'll steal it and I'll get the review coverage out there. Because, you know, some people could say it under the guise of, because we got to inform our readers it's the right thing to do. The real guise is, if we're not there at the day one, we're not going to get as much traffic. So if your readers believe in what you do and want to see your opinion, they will look at it a week later or 2 weeks later or whatever. So it's a whole crap show all around. And again, there have been other press members who have taken to social media and said things along the lines of, can't wait for embargo to lift to see a whole bunch of outlets that are like, oh, we found a copy at Walmart and that's how we did it, because they too know this happens. And like I said, this isn't a me saying like, I know this happens and it's going to happen here. This is a case of me saying it is happening. I know for a fact it's happening. So take that as you will.
Are you?
It's me. I'm doing it.
Yeah, was it you?
Oh, crap. This is what it is. You say like, I would never do that to throw them off your trail. Yeah, no, I'm not.
No, that's not what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, and you probably couldn't elaborate. But
hi, 10th Division.
Are you? Because you're in the industry. Are you?
Hi, Tulsa. On
speaking terms, or like colleagues in a way with any of these people that you know are doing this? And if so, are you? It's not your place to say something to them, I guess. Like, you wouldn't do that.
They know how I feel, but I'm not going to be like, you shouldn't do that. They know how I feel. If they want to do it, do it. Go ahead. It's your outlet. You do whatever you want to do. This isn't like I'm going to call up Nintendo and be like, Nintendo, they're stealing copies. I mean, it is what it is. Like, do whatever you want to do. If you're pirating a game to make the embargo to put your content out there, you know you're taking a risk. It's not like you're going to pretend to be like, I had no idea. I thought I could legally download this game online. Or I had no idea that if I didn't get a review copy and posted content at the same time when the embargo lifted, that Nintendo might think that's fishy. Like, you know what you're getting into. And this isn't like me playing telephone where it's like a friend of a friend of a friend told me. This is me talking to the people who are doing it. So.
And they've said yes.
It is what it is.
Like, they don't
some have said yes. Some have said, no comment, winky face, things like that. So.
And how do you know? Because do they have like stories up that say like, review coming? Like on
no,
the day,
no,
like...
they've just made it like, because as much as Nintendo doesn't want to hear this, all the outlets talk to each other. Like, if you're covering Nintendo press people are talking to Nintendo press people. It happens. It's always happened, and it will always happen. And some people are very brazen with their, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So,
well, is this only affecting Nintendo? Like, I'm trying to think of something big, like God of War Ragnarok. Did anyone try to pirate any of these huge other like Sony or Microsoft games?
Only speak from the press side for myself, so I know Nintendo stuff. I don't know what the situation was with any of those games. I know games leaked from other companies. Is it crazy to think that press has gotten in on the leaks to do reviews? I don't think it's crazy at all, but I don't have any evidence of that. That's just me speculating based on my situations with other things. So yes, I would imagine it has happened. So
this whole thing it's frustrating to even hear about. And it's kind of disheartening, the whole entire thing, and what these outlets feel like they need to do. I guess I don't like, that's disgusting to me, but
I understand the desire to want to be there because you are going to miss traffic and you think nobody cares about your opinion afterwards. And to some degree, that is true. There are people who aren't going to give a crap because they're playing the game.
They're already playing it.
It's like, I get it. I understand that feeling. I do not agree with taking that next step, but that's me. I mean, I think we can all agree that downloading a pirated copy of a game is illegal. That's stealing. Like I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, and
even if you do it, like even if you're a listener and you do it, it's not like you're going to pretend like that's not illegal. I'm not talking about the act of emulation because I know everybody gets all up in arms and it's legal and all that stuff. I'm talking about not paying for a game, going online and downloading that game. I think we can all agree that is theft and against the law. Like, I think we all agree there, whether you do it or not. And like I said, back in the day, I used to do it all the time with music and games. Like when I was a teenager and emulators came out, I was like, this is the best thing in the world. Right. I can play whatever NES game I want. And I did it for years. And then I was like, this is wrong. And I'm not going to say I never thought of it at the time, but I was like, what's the, I was a kid. I was like, what's the big deal? They're not making any money. It doesn't matter. Right. And I bought all these games years ago, but then one day, you grow up or you think about things differently and you're like, I was just making excuses because I wanted to play it. So I decided for me, it wasn't the right thing to do. So,
well, when we're getting to a point with this Nintendo stuff where they're not giving people these games before the street date, is it better for them to keep it from people? It still gets leaked and then outlets are illegally downloading this, or should they just be like, look, the thing's going to get leaked anyway. I don't know what it is with Nintendo games, but people want to leak them where it doesn't seem like they're leaking. I mean, I never hear about other games getting leaked, so it's like Nintendo games only, it seems like, and they're not giving it to outlets that really could use it. I mean, if the game's going to get leaked either way, I feel like they should just go back to giving you the games and then people, they wouldn't have outlets illegally downloading. Again, it's the outlet's fault for doing that. We know it's illegal, but I mean, what's better for the game, the company, and for the outlets? Like, what's the best? Obviously, to give you a copy of the game. You should have been playing this game for 2 weeks already, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, my whole thing about this isn't like, and so long story short, I want the game. Of course I want the game, but yeah, that's not my point in saying any of this. And I don't, my argument isn't like, see, Nintendo, this is what happens. You don't let the inmates run the asylum. You don't look at this and you're like, oh my God, we should give everyone the game because this is what happens if we don't. Like, the game's still going to leak. Nintendo doesn't really care about the press people who are, I don't think they're going to care about the press people who are, they'll be upset with them and something might happen, but you're looking at like, let's say 50 people. And I think that's being generous versus the millions who will illegally download the game. That's what they're worried about. The people who get the game uploaded online and then it gets disseminated to everybody else who's involved with piracy. That's what Nintendo wants to stop. And if they stop that, then it would stop the press from doing it too, because you're cutting off the guys at the top rather than being like, oh, we've made our press upset, we should give them the game early. Yeah, so I'm not of that mind, but we'll see what happens. There's still a whole week before this comes out. So these outlets know that they can't post videos because Nintendo will yank them or try to yank them. And they could probably get away with writing stuff, but even that would draw attention. So there's no doubt they're going to wait for the embargo to lift. Again, not sure when that is, but they'll wait for the embargo, but they'll make sure they're there with the embargo. So next week, keep a close eye on whatever's going on, because Nintendo's reviews, as many outlets do, Nintendo's reviews always come with restrictions. And it's like, don't show this. Don't show this amount of gameplay. Like, keep gameplay clips to a minute or 2 minutes. Don't talk about this story detail. Don't show this location. So there will be videos that, fall into one category that you're like, oh, they all didn't talk about this and they all didn't show this. And there will be other videos that show all that stuff. So I think you know what you're getting when you see that kind of stuff. So pay attention. It's not going to be like IGN, obviously. The IGN is going to be fine, or GameSpot. Like those, they're following the rules. I'm just saying, the smaller outlets. I don't even like using the word small, but not the prolific outlets. So keep an eye out. If you care. If you don't care, then you don't care. I'm not telling you should care either. I just thought this whole thing was really interesting because it's Nintendo's biggest game of the year easily, and this is what's going on. Insanity 2 weeks out from the game. So
could Nintendo
it is what it
do
is.
something if they were able to prove that an outlet did pirate the game for a review? Could they do
From a legal
anything?
standpoint, or
Well, from any, because the
they
outlet's
could.
already not getting any Nintendo games early. So what are they
Yeah.
going to do? Slap them on the wrist?
There's
Oh, you're never getting Nintendo. Who cares?
uninvited
We're just going
to
to pirate them all.
uninvited to other press events, lose your press contacts at all. That Nintendo could let other PR firms and other game companies know that these people did this. Yeah, there could be repercussions. Yeah, legally, I got no clue. That'd be a hell of a legal battle. If anybody would try to be Nintendo, but I don't know if they really want to. So, yeah, it's a whole mess. People are upset for all kinds of reasons. But you, as a consumer, I hope you have managed to avoid spoilers with the leak out there, because we only got 7 days left. 7 days remain. So hopefully nothing's been spoiled for you. Stay safe on social media. But that's your story. Who knows? Maybe next week, this time, I'll be telling you how Nintendo got mad at me. And I knew that going into this. So it is what it is.
I don't
It's
know
the
how
news.
they could be upset with you about just talking like this candidly, how you did, and you didn't say anything wrong at all. And
Well, they've gotten very mad at me for much less in the past. So we'll see what happens. But again, my duty is to share the news with Nintendo fans. My duty is not to bend the knee to Nintendo. So again, I don't go out of my way to do anything to upset Nintendo, because I'm not an asshole. I feel that it'd make me an asshole, but I report the news, and I feel like this is really big news. So there you go. That's why I'm sharing it. That was half hour of hopefully something you found interesting. I certainly find it interesting.
But I've seen everything.
The whole seedy side of the gaming press scene. But
Moving on.
it's not new. I'm sure some of you knew all that stuff was going on anyway. Let's go to something lighter before we get into news. This is a real relaxed show. I know we do topics beforehand, but it's just me and Deux, and I'm just sorry to you, Deux, because you're listening to me just blah 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 about all this.
this is
stupid
interesting. This I didn't realize it was this serious. you know?
Yeah, and I'll gladly tell you more details off the record.
I'm hoping. I was like, I should have written it down, because I was like, I'm hoping that I'll remember to ask him to kind of fill in some blanks after the show for me.
I'll tell you whatever you want. But moving on, like I said, a lighter topic. We're just taking it easy today. It's a Friday show, whatever.
No Nintendo podcast.
New segment. Cool.
No new segment. Not yet.
New segment.
So my dad, that shows how light we're going now. My dad gets in touch with me this week. Thank you, Dad. He said, did I save the text? I hope I did, because that would be great. I did. My dad texted me out of nowhere on Tuesday. I'm going to read it exactly as it's written. Netflix anime Deer Slayer. Netflix anime Deer Slayer. Every word capitalized, by the way. And I said, Deer Slayer? ? Exclamation point. And he goes, yes. And I go, all right, I think I know about a lot of anime.
It's got to be Demon Slayer.
I'm guessing he means Demon Slayer, but I asked him Deer Slayer, and he said yes. So I looked it up. I said, I haven't heard of it, and I just did a search, and nothing came up. And he goes, I'll double check. Demon Slayer. And at this point, I wanted to be like, Dad, I've talked to you about this show so much, and you're like, hey, I found this new thing. But I didn't. I bit my tongue. I'm like, let me just take the win here. I said, yes, Demon Slayer. It's one of my favorites. I'm up to date on it. The green and black checkered hoodie I wear, which he's seen a whole bunch of times now, is related to the show. Because when he first asked me about the hoodie, like a couple months ago, I explained this whole story. But anyway, he goes, looks good. You be styling. I didn't send him pictures, just for memory. Then he goes, watched first episode, liked it. Great artwork. So obviously I go, wow, I'm surprised you watched it. Because ever since I was young RMC in their house, like when I was, well, a kid, obviously, but I guess 13 or so, I would find anime on like Sci-Fi or late at night on Adult Swim. And I'd be like, there's this stuff called anime. I really like it. And, to say my dad was at the lowest level of possibly caring would be an understatement. Like, he just didn't want to hear anything at all about it. Now, fast forward, I'm 41 years old. And my dad's like, hey, I put on Netflix and I watched an anime. I'm like, what world am I living in?
Hey, what happened?
I said, I'm surprised you watch it. And he says, grabbed my attention, number 10 on Netflix. So because it was in the Netflix top 10, that's all. His own son is like, watch this. And he's like, no. Netflix top 10, the almighty Netflix. He's like, well, Netflix says it's number 10, so I'm going to watch it. He says, liked the slower beginning introducing the characters, less frantic, background artwork, outstanding, created mood for story.
Man, he should start reviewing anime. So funny the way he talks about this
How
stuff.
amazing would it be to have him like call in for the podcast every week and just do a quick
Give his
anime
2
review?
cents about
I would
anime.
say quick, but it's not going to be quick with him. But we should do that once.
That'd be brilliant.
That'd be really funny.
That'd be a lot of fun.
So
Then it really would be new segment.
That's
cool.
right. I talked to him more about it and blah, 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 blah. But he said he's continuing to watch. He says, hanging for the story and the artwork, and I'm going to try and figure it out. So that's his way of saying, I don't know what's happening, but I like what's going on. So I'll be seeing him tomorrow, which is why I'm not doing the podcast tomorrow. I will keep you guys updated and let you know what happens, because I am so intrigued to learn more in person, because I want to be like, hey, Dad, what's the story of Demon Slayer, and see what he gives me, because as we've heard from his Last of Us synopsis, you know what the hell was going on in that show. But that's the weirdness going on in my world. My dad's always weird. And I guess this is the opposite of a compliment sandwich, because this is a thing, a bad thing, a good thing, which was my dad. And now back to a bad thing, which I griped about with you for a little bit yesterday. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which comes out June 8th. We now know to be the longest Western created animated movie. It clocks in at 2 hours and 16 minutes, which I think is roughly 20 minutes longer than the last movie.
Numbers.
So Into the Spider-Verse was like 158 or 159, and this is 216. Here's a little, this is funny. So the movie, we find out that it's setting its record for runtime. And there was an outlet. And if you knew what outlet I wasn't mentioning earlier today, this is the same outlet that posted this article. A guy who calls himself, what was the exact term? Was it the resident self-proclaimed Marvel hater or whatever it was? Yeah. He wrote this article about Spider-Man. And he was like, do animated movies need to be this long? So this isn't about me defending Marvel or Spider-Man. This is about what I believe to be such a stupid statement to make. Should animated movies be this long? Is this too long for an animated movie? What kind of statement is that to say? What does animated have anything to do with the length? Your statement is, should movies be 2 hours long? That's the statement you're making. If you want to make that statement, go ahead. I also think that's a stupid statement, but at least you're going with all movies there, and you could be like, my attention span is an hour and a half. Can a movie say what it needs to say in an hour and a half? Whatever. I'd read that and I'd be like, this is silly. But for him to be like, should animated movies be this long? I read the whole article. There's nothing in there that explains why he thinks this is an animated thing. Like, there's nothing like animated, here's why I think animated movie. It's just like, should animated movies
And why start out by saying, as a self-proclaimed MCU hater or Marvel hater, it's like, what does that have to do with animated movie? Other than this one animated movie happens to be
it is Marvel related.
Yeah. But like, I guess you're just saying I hate it.
He wants people to know.
And he also, anyway. Or it's not because it's Marvel that I hate that this is too long.
Not only did he say that, he hyperlinked it to another article he wrote where he played Marvel's Midnight Suns and talked about how multiple times he hates Marvel, but he liked the game. He just needed everybody to know multiple times, I don't like Marvel, but I like this game. Guy Bones has got it. Guy Bones says, should good stuff take up long time? Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. How about you see a movie and you're like, oh, that felt a little long. I think that could have been shorter. Not like that animated movie felt a little long. I think that could have been shorter. Not like that animated movie is 2 hours. Why has it got to be that long? See the movie, then comment on the length. We've all done
Right,
that. I've
right.
seen something where I've been like, that didn't need to be 3
Well,
hours,
yeah,
man.
imagine walking into like Toy
Hi, Outlaws.
Story and it's 2.5 hours. Yeah, that's a little long, maybe, but maybe it's good. You never know till you watch it. But like, we're not talking about like kind of a children's movie here. It's just because it's animated doesn't mean it's necessarily for children, or it necessarily needs to fit into some sort of parameter, especially with time.
Yeah, I mean, even with any kid movie, I would at least reserve judgment until I saw the movie. If, like you said, Toy Story 4 was 2.5 hours. Well, I don't even want to use that because those, Pixar movies are aimed at adults too. But let's say the Mario movie. It's like the Mario movie's 2.5 hours long. It'd be like, is that? And it's not a thing about animated. It's the Mario movie and it's geared at kids.
Yeah.
It seems a little long for kids, but I'll see the movie and reserve judgment and then talk about it. But I wouldn't be like, this movie shouldn't be 2.5 hours. I would at least see the movie first before I'd make a comment like that. Outlaw says, I don't like any long movie at the theater because I always have to go to the bathroom and miss something, but that's unrelated to the medium and not a problem watching at home. Yeah, exactly. Of course, there's plenty of people who get up and go to the bathroom at the movies, but there's two types of people. Some who are like, this is a me thing and I have to pee. And others are like, I have to pee. Movies shouldn't be this long. That's the wrong take. So Ice Dilbert says, I have a pause button on my remote. Movies can be any length at home. That's very true. And like I said, we've all seen movies that we felt were too long, but that's based on what we saw in the movie, not the fact that we heard the movie was long and we're like, that's too long. Although, unfortunately, I'm sure there's plenty of people who have heard about any number of movie being any length and before they saw it have said, that's too long for a movie. So when I heard this about Spider-Man, I didn't think anything of it. I just learned it through this article. And then I was like, how long was Into the Spider-Verse? And it was, like I said, roughly 20 minutes shorter. So I'm like, it's not even that big of a difference, but whatever. Just the state of everything. Just this silly stuff drives me nuts. And I'm not jumping into comments to say things. I'm just like, do people genuinely have these thoughts, or are these articles coming from people who know if they write it with this headline and this perspective that it's going to get attention because it does work? And it's not a clickbait thing. It's just like a sensationalized headline where I'm like, I do want to know why they're saying this because it's not clickbait. They do have this opinion, but I ask myself, do they genuinely have this opinion? I don't know, but what a world to live in. That's it.
It's disheartening that it's changed in a way where it used to be like, hi, I'm Deux and I like long walks on the beach. I like action movies. I like, sports cars. But now it's like, hi, I'm Deux and I don't like Marvel movies. I don't like this. I hate this. And it's kind of like, we don't care what your hates are. Like, you don't need to do that.
I think people do. I think they genuinely find that it's an interesting connection when they can start off knowing that somebody also hates the thing you hate. Like that's like a badge of courage. It's like something that excites people. They're like, oh, they don't like Power Rangers either. I hate Power Rangers. I want to hang out with this person or we could have a conversation. Like, can't just be, I like this thing. I love this thing. And there's things I'm not into, but I let people enjoy them. That would be crazy. We can't do that. You can dislike things all you want, but like I've said, to let people, like, for that to be your personality trait, I hate this, I hate that, I don't like this, I don't like that, and then also lump that in with crapping on the people who do like it. It's popular. It's very popular. It's very hot to not like things nowadays. So, and jump on people for not liking things. But we've had this conversation before. So yeah, long story short, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is too long. An animated movie should not be that long, as we can all agree. We should never have an animated movie over 2 hours, apparently. Or I don't know what the time is. I don't know what's appropriate. I don't know if that guy said that in the article now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe they should all be an hour. I got no clue. They should all be for children because they're animated. They should all be 20 minutes long. And that's it. They all have to be very colorful, too. All right. Hi, Human Fart. Good to see you. Let's move on to, I've talked so much in such a short, I mean, it's 45 minutes, but my throat is like closing on me. Let's get to news. As we suspected, and it's no surprise, the Super Mario Brothers movie has reached $1 billion in revenue at the box office. That's worldwide. That's not domestic. We actually learned just a couple hours ago that domestically the movie has reached $500 million.
Whoa!
Let me get you the details on that.
Jackpot!
Because there was some accolades connected to that. The Super Mario Brothers movie is now the second highest grossing animated movie ever domestically. So number 2 for the Mario movie domestically, second highest grossing animated movie ever domestically. What's number 1? I'm here doing the podcast. I didn't have time to look it up. I'm going to guess The Lion King, and I'm going to guess the 2019 Lion King.
No, that's
my guess.
the new one.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I guess you're probably right.
Maybe adjusted for inflation, the original Lion King. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess CG Lion King for 2019 was a big one. It also makes this the 4th film domestically to reach the 500 million mark in the pandemic era. Avatar: The Way of Water was 683 million. Top Gun: Maverick was 718 million, and Spider-Man: No Way Home was 814 million. So number 4 for Mario in that case. But like I said, number 2 animated movie domestically ever.
And that's not done yet.
No, this is the 5th week. It's still going strong. Super Mario Brothers movie is also the second highest grossing animated film of all time domestically, and the 3rd biggest Universal release of all time. Dude, you're a movie guy. Can you guess what other 2 Universal movies grossed more?
Jurassic Park.
Very close. Very, very, very close. I'm
like close enough that it's a sequel of Jurassic Park. Okay, which one would have been the best? Probably Jurassic World.
There you go, Jurassic World.
The reboot, right? The first reboot.
Yeah, Jurassic World. And can you guess the other Universal movie? I can give you hints. It's not a franchise. It's not a franchise. It's not a monster. It's not a monster.
It's not a monster. But it could be considered dark or something quirky, or just because you said
not
it's
dark,
not a monster.
but quirky. It's not a monster.
Is it like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory thing, or is it?
No.
It's not like a Tim Burton.
It's not a monster.
Yeah, I know there's something like right out in the open with what you're hinting at here, but I can't put my face on it. Not a monster.
It's from the 80s. There's only ever been one.
Oh, E.T.
E.T. There you go. It's not a monster. It's an alien. Yes, E.T. is in there as well.
Very
so
nice. I should have got that.
Mario movie, well, you got there, is really doing it, man. King Brawley says, it's a me, the money printing machine. Wahoo. That was my Mario impression. Hello, Mario. Lucius 6, because this was on the other post. They say, today I finally contributed to that number and I wasn't disappointed. Sure, it has some flaws, but it was a great ride overall. That's the consensus. People are really loving it. So there you go. 5 weeks out, over $1 billion grossed worldwide. And the number, that's it. Yeah. The number continues to climb. Yep.
Wow! Incredible!
From one movie to the next. You know, as soon as this Mario movie came out and was a hit, well, even before the movie came out, everybody was like, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, more Nintendo movies. Now, I mean, it's a given. There's going to be more Nintendo movies. You kidding me? And companies are going to be fighting to get those franchises. And I think we can rest a little easier knowing that they're at least going to put some effort into them. Because regardless of how you feel about the Mario movie in terms of story, we can all agree that it was like a considerable amount of effort was put into the movie. So future is somewhat brighter. So everybody's like, this movie, that movie. I want this movie from Nintendo. There's been talk of franchises people want turned into a movie. And of course, people want a Metroid movie. Now, is there anything officially happening with the Metroid movie? If there is, we don't know. But someone out there, notable, has said they want to crack at the Metroid movie. Neil Blomkamp, the man behind
Doogie Howser.
most well known for District 9, did Elysium and Chappie as well. People know about Chappie. So he's a director and a screenwriter. He has said he wants to do a Metroid movie. He very flat out, somebody on Twitter was like, you want to do a Metroid movie? And he's like, yes, just said yes. So he knows the franchise. He's in. He wants to do it. I would say, knowing some of his work, that there's a possibility that movie could turn out good. That's someone, if I heard they were doing the movie, I'd be like, oh, that's a decent fit. I wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm really excited, but I'd be like, oh, that could work. So,
yeah,
if I heard, I'm trying to think, if David Lynch was doing a Metroid movie, I'd be like, I'm very intrigued, but this is going to be horrible. I'm trying to think of a director that would be named where I'd be like, yeah, this is great.
Wow.
Can you think of one?
For the Metroid movie?
For if there were a Metroid movie, a director who was involved where you'd be like, oh, yeah.
Nah, I mean, I would, like, not even Ridley Scott, like I would just say this guy that you're talking about is probably the fact that if he truly is a fan or at least knows the material and is excited to work on it, that right there to me speaks volumes way more than if they threw a bunch of money in at Ridley and were just like, do Alien 2 or something.
Well, here's the thing, like, these movies going forward, we now know Nintendo will be deeply involved in them. So at least one half of the effort will be steered by someone who knows what they're talking about, which is good. So, but yeah, I just imagine Ridley Scott just crapping all over the idea to begin with, but maybe that's just my idea of Ridley Scott. Maybe Spielberg, because Spielberg knows Miyamoto for sure. They have worked and talked together. Like they have, at least on a surface level, a relationship. So if Spielberg was announced, I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. I could see how something could happen there. Miyamoto and Spielberg working together, even though Miyamoto isn't really tied to Metroid. But still, if Spielberg was announced, I wouldn't be like, that's a horrible idea and so thrown off. But I wouldn't be ecstatic about it.
Not for Metroid, in my opinion.
What?
Metroid's got to be a little darker.
What franchise would you give Spielberg to?
I was just thinking that right now. I was just thinking about that right now, and I don't even, like, to be honest, probably Mario, but it's just been done. So, like, I can't think of what else. Like
Pikmin?
I was gonna say Pikmin, but who wants to watch a Pikmin movie? Like,
I'll watch a Pikmin movie.
I mean, who wants to? I'll watch it. Do I want to? Not really.
Who wants to? People don't even know what Pikmin is, so not a lot of people, but people would watch it.
Elebits the movie.
Well, they'd have to go to Konami, and I don't know if Konami
that's
is
not
still
Nintendo.
No,
I played it on a Nintendo system.
Yes, I don't know if they were all exclusive to Nintendo systems, but yes, it's known to be on the Wii and the DS.
We
maybe
just
something else
have to wait and see.
Josh, I don't think we're waiting to see if there's going to be an Elebits movie. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
Hell yeah.
SD Sick Hero says he also wanted to do something in the Alien universe, but I guess that didn't pan out. Well, if Neil wanted to do Alien and nothing came of it, then yeah, pivot to Metroid. Why not? And prove them wrong, Neil. Prove them wrong. Show them that they should have picked you for an Alien movie.
Yeah, I got nothing wrong with that guy's films, but I'm not crazy about any of them, to be honest. I've seen them all, and I
like District 9 a lot. I remember that.
I remember thinking it was fine.
I liked Chappie as well. So again, not crazy about them, but I liked them. Speaking of leaks, as we started off the show with, Tears of the Kingdom isn't the only thing that leaked. The Super Mario Brothers movie leaked. You might have heard that.
Oh my God!
A couple weeks ago on Argentine TV, they broadcast the whole Super Mario movie, like start to finish. So I don't know what's going on down there, but obviously Nintendo and Illumination weren't happy about that. But just this week, the Super Mario Brothers movie in full in its entirety was available on Twitter and YouTube. And I actually found this out as it was happening because I went to YouTube, and as you know, YouTube gives you a list of recommendations up top based on other things you've watched. I don't know if you know this, but I talk a lot about Nintendo, so it gives me things about Nintendo. It was the full Mario movie recommended in my YouTube algorithm. Now, how did it avoid copyright detection? It was vocoded to a song. So you heard the whole movie, but everybody, as they spoke, it was a song, like, a popular song. I'm not going to tell you the song because then you'll probably try and find the movie. But and then as far as there was like a visual filter over it, so it was still full screen, but it had a visual filter over it. And I clicked on the movie, and I was like, "This is the whole movie." I like skimmed through, and I was like, "What's going on here?"
But it had some sort of weird filter on it.
Yeah, but you could watch and it's not like you couldn't understand it. It was literally like, it's vocoded. It was the whole soundtrack and the whole dialogue of the movie as we saw it, but to a song. Like, I don't know, that it's vocoded. I don't know how else to explain it. You've seen it on TikTok a whole bunch. Like, there's some random TikTok video put to like
Endless Runner games or something, or like
no, like I'm trying to think of like what's Africa. You know the song Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen like the table is broken kid? You know that meme, but it'll be vocoded to Africa. So it's the kid and he's like, "Oh no, the table, it's broken," and that's how their voice goes with the song. But it's still the original video, just vocoded to the song. So that's what this was for the Mario movie.
Oh, interesting.
But again, I won't say the name of the
Sounds
song
awful.
because it was a popular song. And if you look those two up, then you'll find the movie. I'm sure it's removed off YouTube now, but not before 9 million people watched it across social media. So people were quick to find out it was happening, and YouTube and Twitter were not quick enough to take it down. So 9 million people watched those.
But I've seen everything.
And that's how they experienced the Mario movie. Did they watch the whole thing? Who the hell knows? Probably not. But 9 million watches happened. Sticer says, pretty bad day for leaks for Nintendo. Though this one isn't nearly as bad as people downloading Tears of the Kingdom before release. Nintendo sure must have their hands full right now. Yeah, it was the best of times. It was the blurst of times, as a famous cartoon once said. And a cartoon that is less than 2 hours, so that means it's good. Yeah, I don't know what Nintendo's thinking. They got to be like, why does our games always leak? Our big games leak right before they come out, and now we got Mario movie leaks before it's in home or before it's available at home. What the hell's going on? What are you gonna do? And Illumination is probably like, these video game nerds are nuts. Like, why are they doing this? This isn't happening. Like the Minion movie isn't getting leaked online while it's still in theaters. Well, it is, but not to this degree. Like, you're not going on YouTube and seeing the Minion movie. So, although we all wish we could. In other bad news for Nintendo fans this week, sadly, and in a very crappy way, Nikki Hill's texting me. Nikki Hill said he's watching the podcast. He says Uwe Boll for Metroid movie. Uwe Boll, who made, all those horrible video game movies. Yeah. Postal and
Doom? Did he do a bad Doom movie?
Was he the Doom guy? I gotta look up. I mean, it's a who's who of bad video game adaptations.
It's kind of amazing how there hasn't been
Corpse
one
Killer.
good one, and he still gets to make these films. Gotta wonder.
We haven't heard from him in a while. He's still doing movies. I want to look up his video game movies. Filmography.
Don't be sweaty, be a go-getty.
He did. I remember he did Blood Rain. Alone in the Dark, House of the Dead, Blood Rain, In the Name of the King, Blood Rain 2, Postal,
Sure is boring
Alone in the Dark 2, Far Cry. Yeah, he Blood Rain, The Third Reich, In the Name of the King 2. So even though they were so horrible, he was still making them. People were seeing them. But anyway, back to what I was saying. In bad news for Nintendo fans this week.
But enough talk. How about you?
It was announced that Marvel's Midnight Suns has been canceled for Switch. Why? No official reason. We can certainly speculate on it. But here's the really crappy part. This was in a massive press release from 2K, but it was hidden inside of it. It was one line in the press release from 2K. So it's about the upcoming PS4, Xbox One versions of the game because they're not out yet. And I believe they said they're coming out May 11th. So it's a big thing about how these two versions are coming out. And then one line in the press release read, quote, "Note that the Nintendo Switch version of Marvel's Midnight Suns is no longer planned." End quote. only line in the whole thing. So they just farted it out in this press release. No official reason as to why. Many have speculated it did not, or it got canceled because the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S and PC versions of the game didn't sell well. So they're like, let's cut our losses here. Get the Xbox and the or Xbox X or whatever the whole. What was the Xbox One S X? What was the last
Series
Xbox called?
X
No, that's the one
Xbox
now.
One.
Xbox One.
I think it was just Xbox One.
I don't think it was, but I don't know.
Really? There was Xbox One and then an Xbox Series X and Series S.
I'll look it up. But they said let's get those out because the Switch one will take the most work, and then just cancel the Switch because nobody. No, I shouldn't say nobody. The game did not perform to expectations. So that's it. It's over. Sad because I really like that game. And I was eager to see how
the game fun.
The game is fun, Reggie.
The game is fun.
Thank you, Reggie. Xbox One X. Yes. Xbox One X. It does exist. The original, the Xbox. So there's the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X. And then now we're on the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. So there you go. Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X. Very easy to remember.
So the Xbox One S is basically like a PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah.
I got you.
You got it. So canceled. I am so sorry. Tindonian says the game already underperformed on its launch platforms. Developer Fireaxis is in a leadership transition, and the Switch as a platform is starting to fade. Unfortunate, but understandable. Maybe it can become a sleeper hit over time and get a port to the Switch's successor. Yeah, Fireaxis is going through some troubles. That's certainly true. I imagine 2K doesn't want to spend the money because they don't think they'll get a return when they didn't get a return on the original versions of the game, so it just doesn't make sense. I understand it, but it is disappointing. I personally was of the belief that the game would do quite well on Switch. I thought it would outperform the Xbox version, but that's just me. We'll never know. So nobody bought it on any system, so it doesn't matter. They were like, card game? No, thank you, which is a shame. It was really good. It really, really was good.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, you're right. It's
not even close.
Not even close. Well, it was close, I guess, for a while, but
Wait, I gotta go.
Not even.
Not even. You're right,
baby.
I was gonna do this to you, but you're doing soundboard duty. I don't want to torment you more. We have the top 20 Switch eShop titles in Japan for April 2023. I'll just give you the top 10 rather than making you go through it. Breath of the Wild was number 10. Splatoon 3 is number 9. Final Fantasy 2, that's the Pixel remaster, is at number 8. Final Fantasy, the original Pixel remaster, is number 7. Final Fantasy 3 is number 6. These are all Pixel remasters. Final Fantasy 4 is number 5. Final Fantasy 6 is number 4. Final Fantasy 5 is number 3. So those Pixel remasters, I mean, we learned this week that the Pixel remasters have already sold over 2 million copies worldwide. So everybody's gobbling this up, which is awesome to see. And then our top 2, which this makes me so happy because I would have never guessed they would be number 2 and number 1, but they are. So happy about this. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection Volume 1 came in 2nd place, and Volume 2 came in 1st place. So Mega Man topping the charts. Also, Capcom revealed that the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection has already sold over 1 million copies. Would have never guessed that would have happened.
Unbelievable.
So there you go. So Capcom now has to be like, we got to do a new Battle Network game. People still really love these games. So awesome to see. Great news all around. So if you'd like to see the top 20, go check out the post. Are we going to do this? Nah, we're not going to do that. Dude, I'm sorry it took so long, but we finally have Pokemon news for you. There was a report from Mobile Gamer talking about Pokemon Go. And that report said that the game for April pulled in $34.7 million. That would make it the lowest point in the game's revenue seen in the last 5 years. So
Something
not
is looming.
good. People would
He's heading
say
towards certain death.
that was due to the change in the remote raid passes, because as we've talked about before, Niantic changed things for the pandemic so that people could play from the safety of their home, but that fundamentally changed how the game played, and Niantic wants to get people back out there playing as they used to. So while remote raid passes are still there, they're handled completely differently, and fans were not happy about that. And now, after that approach was enacted, we see that April revenue dropped to the lowest point in the last 5 years. So you would think that's not good. But
no one cares. No one cares.
Niantic has fired back with their own statement because they say this is not true. Niantic says, quote, "We generally
I'm
don't..."
feeling so brave.
I didn't.
Josh.
I don't know why Josh said that.
I don't know either. Niantic
Shut
says,
up. I don't care.
quote, "We generally don't comment on third-party estimates of our revenue as they are often incorrect, which is the case here. Our revenue so far in 2023 is up on last year. We don't focus on month-to-month trends because they fluctuate based on major live events. This year's changes have already increased in-person rating, and we're excited to introduce exciting new features over the coming months." End quote. So Niantic's doing the old Jedi mind trick here, because we heard that April's revenue
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
was $34 million, lowest in the last 5 years. Niantic says, "We generally don't comment on third-party estimates of our revenue as they are often incorrect, which is the case here." So they are saying the number is incorrect. Then they go on to say, "Our
Wrong.
revenue so far in 2023 is up on last year." What they don't say is what the April number was. So it could be true that the April number was the lowest we've seen in the last 5 years. But Niantic is like, waving their hand one direction while they're doing something else with their other hand. They're trying to be like, these numbers are wrong. We're not going to say how wrong. And we're also not going to say if that detail about the lowest number in the last 5 years was wrong. But we will say we're up year on year. We're not talking about that. We're talking about April. So all we know is they say the number is correct. That could mean it's lower than what was reported, but Niantic didn't say. So don't fall for the Jedi mind tricks here. We still know as much as we know. We still know as much as we knew.
With this one.
We just now know that the number was incorrect. We don't know which way it was incorrect. So it's hard to imagine that the number didn't drop, just maybe not to the degree that this report said. Weird says, "I've been a daily player since the game first came out years ago. Lately, the game has almost become boring. Adventure Sync almost never works. With the increase in prices of remote raid passes, raids have almost become dead. I was in Tokyo for a week in April, for crying out loud, and most raid lobbies were empty." So the changes, fans have said they're not happy about them, and I don't know. Certainly seems, if the numbers are to be believed, that players are voting with their wallets, as I said they should do. So basically, thank you to me. No,
Thanks. Very cool.
It got to the point where people are like, I'm not spending money on this. So there you go. This was very interesting. We have the top 10 Switch games by revenue in Q1 2023. So this is not units sold. This is by money made. We have it for the US and the UK. We hardly ever get this information, but we got it now. By the way, I just want to take a second to complain about Nintendo. Thanks, Nintendo, for making your year-end fiscal report next week. So I literally have to go through a week of financial hell to get to Tears of the Kingdom. I'm so mad that it aligned like this. I know they didn't do it on purpose, but to know that I'm 1 week out from Tears of the Kingdom and now I have to go through a week long of financial reports, my least favorite thing on the site, I'm so mad about it. I'm so mad.
Wait, so what? It's upsetting you just because you're already kind of put out for waiting for the game, you're saying, and now you've got to.
Now to get through the final week of the game, I have to do all this financial report crap, which is the most tedious, annoying stuff on the that I do for GoNintendo. It's the worst because it comes out staggered. So Tuesday night there will be something, Wednesday night there will be something, Thursday night there will be something.
There's no way you could pirate all this information on Sunday and then, have it just release on the days that they come out.
Even if it did come
That's a
out
bad
early,
joke. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't do that. But,
I know you wouldn't. Everyone listening hopefully knows that too.
It's just so annoying, and I just wanted the week. The week was going to be hard enough just waiting to get the Tears of the Kingdom, and I just wanted it to be a regular work week. But now knowing that this crap is coming,
couldn't this take your mind off of waiting for the game? Like, wouldn't you be so involved in this and annoyed at this that you might not even notice because you work so hard and so much? Maybe the week goes by quickly, and then by Friday you're like, oh, I didn't even think about the game because I was too busy worrying about these financial numbers getting up on the site.
All I think about is how annoying it is to get through the stuff. Plus, it comes out at like 2 a.m, so it's a pain in the butt with timing too.
You're awake.
And then but I'm not doing stuff at 2 a.m. Like I'm usually finishing around at 1, and then I'll maybe pop back in before bed. But on top of all that, Nintendo does interviews with like Bloomberg and stuff. I don't know when those are coming out, but it's going to be next week, and they'll say, something, and it could be a huge story. It could not be. So it's just a constant, like, trying to keep track of everything that's going on and get it as it comes out. So annoying. But that's a me thing. That's a me thing.
Well, I'm obviously it's necessary information for a Nintendo News website, and I'm sure that there are people out there who are interested in that stuff. But not to make things harder for you, but I'm sure it's like not the most popular stuff on your website, right? Like you probably work so hard, and like no one, like I'm sure a very small percentage of people really care about that.
They do all right numbers because it's quarterly reports. Like people are somewhat interested in that stuff. Yeah, it's not the biggest thing, but I mean, it's a good snapshot of where Nintendo's at and what's going on. But this is in particular the year-end report. So it's not just a quarterly report.
It's May.
It's the whole year. Fiscal years usually end sometime in between March. They usually end March 31st. So that's what this will be, a report on the whole fiscal year that ended March 31st. But their yearly fiscal report is followed by my favorite quarterly report, the Q1 report, because Nintendo doesn't put out anything for Q1. No reports. They don't do it. So I love that. That's great. But Q2, Q3, Q4 sucks because it's double the work. Now I got to do Q4 and full year.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. But anyway, I do like sharing game revenue for Switch because we never really hear this stuff. We always hear units sold. USA, Q1 2023. What games made the most money on Switch? Starting with number 10, Mario Party Superstars, followed by Animal Crossing New Horizons, followed by Octopath Traveler 2, followed by Smash, followed by Breath of the Wild, followed by Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, followed by Fire Emblem Engage, followed by Fortnite.
Wow.
Fortnite made
game purchases.
Just shop purchases. Number 3 for Fortnite. Number 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and number 1, Metroid Prime Remastered. So that's great. Nintendo Switch owners in the United States in Q1 wanted Metroid Prime Remastered more than anything else. And they got it. UK, starting with number 10, Splatoon 3, Animal Crossing, Nintendo Switch Sports, the famous, Hawaii, a British.
I just like that soundbite.
Part of the monarchy. Nintendo Switch Sports, number 7 is FIFA, number 6 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, number 5 is Minecraft, number 4 is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, number 3, Disney Dreamlight Valley, a free-to-play game that people are spending money on. Number 2, Metroid Prime Remastered. Number 1 in the UK, Fortnite.
It's free.
So that goes to show you how many people are playing Fortnite on the Switch, because it's literally number 1 for Q1 in 2023. The UK Fortnite players on the Switch are spending some bank. What do they got over there? Pounds and quids and pence and all that stuff. They're spending it all on Fortnite. So there you go. That's the interesting. Like I said, we don't really get those numbers. Dubby has the first comment. It says, well, I'm happy to see Fire Emblem Engage there. Insanely underrated by the gamers and professional critics. It's a diamond. There you go. It's a diamond. Dubby, you might be happy to know that just last night, my 2 cousins were talking about Both of them, one of them got into Fire Emblem with Fire Emblem 3 Houses. After years of me saying, you guys will love Fire Emblem. One of them got in with that, and it's like their favorite thing in the world. They love it, and they've poured like hundreds of hours into it. And they're like, I don't know why it took me so long to play this. I love Fire Emblem. They love 3 Houses so much that they're like, I got to start watching anime. Is this what anime is like? And I was like, yeah, anime is a lot like this. Not gameplay, obviously, but how the stories are told and characters. And my other cousin, which is his brother, started with Fire Emblem Engage and absolutely loves Engage and is saying the same thing. I might be wrong. Maybe he also started with 3 Houses, but he's playing Engage now. So either way, they are 2 recent Fire Emblem fans, converts. And
you are a real hero.
My other cousin, their also brother, but younger, just started 3 Houses, and it said the same thing. Doesn't understand why they took so long to get into it. They love it. So there you go. Fire Emblem fans are out there. W, I hope that makes you happy. Do we have a Reggie story? Have you heard this story?
I was following along, and the second I stopped,
it's about Tears of the Kingdom and piracy and all that.
No,
well, don't read it. Let me tell you,
because
this may make
What's wrong with you?
This may make you more happy about Reggie.
Really?
My body is ready.
So Reggie does whatever he wants on Twitter now because he's, whatever. He's Reggie. I don't know how this happened. If somebody brought it to Reggie's attention, or if Reggie just saw it on Twitter. As we said, Tears of the Kingdom has leaked. People have pirated the game. They are playing it. And of course, some people are very proud of their piracy and are going on social media to get that clout because they love that clout and post on Twitter and other platforms that they are playing the game through the pirated copy that they downloaded. So some guy on Twitter, his Twitter account was, keyword was, Human and a Gamer. The Twitter account Human and a Gamer sent out a tweet thread because, as I said, they want to get that clout of them playing Tears of the Kingdom pirated on their Switch. Well, this tweet, again, I don't know how, this tweet made its way to none other than Reggie. Reggie replied to the tweet, which wasn't directed at Reggie at all. He just replied to it with a quote from a movie. Do I believe you'll know the movie? The quote says, quote, I don't know what you want. What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. End quote. For those who don't know, that's from the Liam Neeson movie Taken. This made it back to I'm a human and a gamer, obviously, because a whole bunch of people started talking about it. And that is when this Twitter user was like, I've made a mistake. And they deleted their tweet and deleted their Twitter. They deleted their whole account. They're gone. Are they having second thoughts about piracy? Probably not. But maybe second thoughts about how they post on social media because it got in front of Reggie, the former Nintendo president. So when Reggie saw that the guy deleted his Twitter account, Reggie brought out the receipts. He had a screenshot of the tweet and shared that on his Twitter to let everybody know this is what I was talking about. So even though the guy's Twitter account is gone for posterity, you can still see the tweet and the account thanks to Reggie's screenshot. So Reggie's a real one. When it comes to this, Reggie's a real one. That is so great. And I've seen...
Meanwhile, Reggie's got his own copy that Miyamoto personally hand-delivered to him while kissing him on the feet.
Call me crazy, but
Reggie's
I don't...
playing it. And
I don't think there's anything wrong with the former president of Nintendo of America getting an advanced copy of a Nintendo
Really?
game. Yeah.
Wow.
You think there's something wrong with that?
Even this anti-union guy?
I don't. He was the former president of Nintendo.
Does Tears of the Kingdom have NFTs in it? Is that why he gets it early and loves
If
to play
Nintendo was famously anti union busting, then I'd be like, oh, I'm surprised they gave it to Reggie, but he's still the former president. But they're not. He's the former president. It's not shocking at all if he has a copy. We don't know if he does.
So we
but...
shouldn't. Yeah. So former president shouldn't be held up to the same standards as the rest of us. Okay, there you go. Does that have any parallels in our in our world today?
Standards? What's the standards of buying a game? You mean?
Yes, those standards. I was talking about legal standards, like the former president.
Oh well, I'm asking what your question is. I'm saying I'm not shocked if he got a copy from Nintendo.
Well, yeah, I'm not shocked either.
All right. Well, then we're on the same page.
It's wrong.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but
well, that's what I'm saying.
Why? Okay, tell me why it's wrong. I would love to hear that.
Well, because why should he get special treatment just because he was the president? He's not anymore. He's not anymore. What? Yes, you just forever get every free for those who can afford it, very expensive for those who can't.
I mean, it's like a recognition of and a thanks for your service of steering the company to its success. Like, it's not like you're out the door, goodbye, you were never a part of Nintendo, we're not going to do anything for you anymore. Like, just like Reggie doesn't work at Nintendo. He's bringing piracy attention to something going on in Nintendo.
Oh, he had fun doing this. Don't.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Yeah, it was great. But again, he only did it because A, he cares about Nintendo, and B, was the former president of Nintendo.
Once he did that, then he got the free copy of Tears of the Kingdom. That's
I just want to say this clearly. We have no idea if Reggie had a copy of Tears of the Kingdom. This is all speculation. I was saying I wouldn't be shocked if he did, and I think it's fine if he got it. So I would also love to see employees that work at Nintendo that aren't the president get copies as well.
Okay, there you go.
Now, when they leave the company, I don't think they should get them. But if they're working at the company, I think they should get them. And if one left the company and still got it, I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be like, that's wrong. But, president, bug tester,
wow,
there's a difference between the two.
I didn't realize that this is how you thought. You were, you've always been such a, as long as you are a good person, you do the right thing and you don't try to harm anyone. And hey, I don't, you don't look at celebrity or at anybody as better than you or anything like that. And then here you are oh, give Reggie all the free games because he used to work for a huge...
I didn't say that. Again, I said I wouldn't be shocked if he got a free copy. That's
Nobody's shocked. I don't think it would be right if he got one because he doesn't work there anymore. And I don't care if he was King Nintendo or if he was the janitor. He shouldn't be getting a copy if he doesn't work there anymore.
Okay. Miyamoto shouldn't?
He should because he works there. Right?
When he leaves.
When Miyamoto leaves?
Yeah.
When is he going to leave?
Answer the question, Deux.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think Miyamoto will ever leave, but no, if he leaves, I don't think he should necessarily get a free advance copy of any of these games.
All right.
Unless he has some kind of work, unless he's a collaborator or something.
He would be the man that invented Mario, so a new Mario game comes out, and you're like, sorry, buddy, you got to buy it.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. You sold it to Nintendo. Well, you gave up your IP to Nintendo.
Well, that's the thing. My point is Nintendo would probably be like, we owe this man our billions. We can give him a free copy of the Mario games that come out.
Look, I just, after everything that we've seen with these bad actors, and then I'm sitting across the table from one of the greatest actors, not in the acting world, but in the great actors as far as great people.
Vertical smiles.
And we're saying that you don't deserve an advanced copy of this, but some guy who used to be president, I don't know, whatever, it's fine. Maybe
I'm pressed, so that's a whole different can of worms. But yeah, I'm not saying. I think we are somewhere on the same line because I'm not saying because he's a former president he should get a game. You are also not saying that, but I'm saying if he does get it, I'm okay with it because he's the former president. You're saying you're not okay with it. So a difference of agreement or a difference of opinion there, but we are both saying just because of the position he held doesn't mean he should get a free game.
What makes him?
I agree with that.
Forever and ever get all free game. And again, we don't know
that's
if
what I'm saying.
Case,
he was there for what, 15 years. He clearly did a lot for the company. And if Nintendo decides that they want to recognize that by giving him free games, I understand it. It's their decision to give the game.
It's I don't know. I don't know what gets me more. It's again, it comes back to the free for those who can afford it, very expensive for those who can't. And I just don't like how that is. Like somebody like Reggie, fine, you want to give him a copy early, that fine. But like he should have to pay for it. You know, the guy can pay. But I get it. It's not like you're not going to nickel and dime Reggie.
Yeah.
But like,
well, that's
why
the
do
thing.
certain people who can afford things get everything on a platter, and then we've got people suffering who can't do anything?
I agree with that sentiment, but it's very different. It's a very different thing between Reggie, former president of Nintendo, and Matthew McConaughey, actor. Matthew McConaughey, actor, will get all kinds of free stuff from all kinds of things that have nothing to do with acting or the movies he was in. No. Reggie worked for Nintendo, ran the company, like steered their business decisions in one part of the world. That makes more sense to me. Like Matthew McConaughey.
Definitely. You're right.
Or even an actor I love. I don't know.
Mads.
Ted Danson. Love the man. He shouldn't be getting free stuff because he's Ted Danson. If there was a Cheers related commemorative DVD box set and they gave it to Ted, that's fine. I mean, the man is Cheers, so that's how I'm looking. What I'm trying to say is Reggie is Ted. Reggie is Ted Danson.
Look, it's Richard E. Grant's 66th birthday today. If anyone should get an advanced copy of Tears of the Kingdom, it should be him. I don't believe he plays video games, but
not yet.
But yeah.
So yes, Reggie destroyed this guy on Twitter. And the Crimson Lore has the most upvoted comment and says, no. This guy was just playing a legitimate archive copy of a game he paid for and owns. That's all it is. Yeah. He bought Tears of the Kingdom. He paid in full. The game's just not out yet. So he did buy the game. So he just went on and downloaded a game that he already owns in the future. That's what we're getting at here. Maybe he owns it digitally. It's on his Switch now. He just can't access it. It's all on the up and up. North America. What do we got? Let me tell you. 100 Animalese. Adventure Escape Room Bundle. Back to Childhood Classic Games Collection. Death Wish Enforcers. Demon Skin. Dessert DIY. Jokapone Kingdom Connect. The Friendship Ruiner. Garden Simulator. Gotta Go Fast Racing Collection. Microids Indie Bundle. Gruta. Hasbro Kids Bundle. Horror Bundle 3-in-1. Jandu Soft Games Bundle Volume 1. Japanese Escape Games. The Prison Underground. Jigsaw Puzzle Fever. Mia and the Dragon Princess. That is a full motion video game. No Place Like Home. Pathfinder's Memories. Poosh XL. Sakura Gamer. Scrap Bolts. Skinny and Franco. Fists of Violence. Space Gladiators. Swordbreaker Origins. The Shooting Range 3D. Shooting Gallery Simulator. Tiny Dragon Story. Ultimate Shot 3D. Real Strike. Shooter Counter. FPS Simulator games. That's got to be Shooter Counter. And Urbeck City Builder. Now there's something else. Because we got a real surprise this week. We got a shadow drop, a literal shadow drop. Bandai Namco, out of nowhere, put out, which I'm really excited for, because it's one of those games I missed. Let me just make sure I get the name right. Sorry, I have to put in my date to prove that I'm old enough to look at this game. Bandai Namco put out
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
the Dark Pictures anthology Man of Medan, or Medan, or however you say it.
Outstanding.
So one of their Dark Picture games. The Dark Pictures anthology is a series of standalone branching cinematic horror games featuring a multiplayer mode.
Dark Metamorphosis!
5 friends set sail on a holiday diving trip that soon changes into something much more sinister. It's the first game in the Dark Pictures anthology, and it's brand new on Switch. I don't know why Bandai Namco never announced that they were bringing this over. I don't know why they shadow dropped it. And best of all, it's only $20. Please note, extra credit to Bandai Namco here. Good on them. They let everybody know that it runs at 24 frames per second, because we live. Oh, I can't even. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. Good on them, because people care about frame rates. So in their press release, they said, hey, 24 frames per second, just so everybody knows, which is what movies run at. So
hey, don't expect it to run great, is what they're saying.
Well, it's funny because have you ever complained at a movie that's 24 frames per second? Because that's what they are.
Wrong.
I don't know.
Almost every movie you've ever seen is 24 frames a second.
Well, if it were any faster for a movie, then it looks like a weird BBC show, right? Then it gets into that hyper weird realm.
I will say that what's James Cameron doing? 48 frames per second, but there are 60 frames per second movies. I don't want to say it's wrong, because it's not. I will say it looks odd to our eyes because we're used to watching 24 frames a second. So you see that and you're like, oh, it's too fast or something. So I get the complaint. It also looks strange to me. I get it, but
he admitted it.
They're trying to. I wouldn't not say. This is my whole game movie argument. If a movie was 60 frames per second, I'm not going to be like, I wouldn't see it at 60 frames. It's too fast. I'll see the movie. It's fine. But anyway, 24 frames a second. Never played this game. Wanted to, because I feel like I like the whole idea of this franchise. What's that? Did I play one of these? No, I didn't. What's that game? Chat, I'm looking at you. It's got Hayden Panettiere in it. It was a scary game where you make decisions.
Oh, it's 2 words. Dark light, dark night, dark
Metamorphosis?
No. Evil within? No. Evil.
Until Dawn. Thank you.
I knew it was 2 words.
Thank
I got the
you,
2
Optimus
words.
Josh. Hi, knock on wood. Good to see you.
Optimus
long
Josh,
time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking my 2-word hint and giving us the real answer.
Knock on wood says, long-time listener, first time in the podcast Discord. Never caught this live before. It's an experience. Well, we're glad you're here experiencing it. And look, now we talked about you on the show. You are a part of GoNintendo history. And honestly, I've never been more proud of my entire life. I was looking up to see what actors are in this, because all these Dark Pictures games have actors that you recognize. It's actors where you're like, I know that guy. I know that girl. They're in things, but you can never name what the thing is. Just like, look at the first guy. You're like, I know that guy.
I've seen him many times. I couldn't ever tell you what his name is.
Sean Ashmore plays Conrad in the game.
But you've seen him a bunch.
There's a few people here.
But
I've
I've seen everything.
I've seen everything, yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to check that out. And since we're on the topic today, I will say that Bandai Namco was nice enough to offer me a review code, so I will be playing that for a review. So look forward to that. I would love to play that on movie night, because they are the perfect games to make fun of, and we would actually play along with them.
Oh, it's in the same vein as that Until Dawn
Yeah,
game?
it's exactly the same. Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
We never played that, and I always wanted to.
I played it. It was.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I would love to do that one for movie night too. It was a lot of fun, but these are made with special multiplayer modes because of that. As a matter of fact, let me go to GoNintendo.com, and I'll read you the specifics that they say about the multiplayer mode. I'm so mad at myself.
Very cool.
Josh, vamp for me. I gotta find this.
Boring. Hangin' and bangin'.
Josh, what do you got? Any plans this weekend?
That's none of your business.
That's what I thought. All right, here's the press release.
Sure, whatever.
Thank you for the vamping, Josh. Yeah, here you go. Newcomers and fans of the franchise can experience the horrifying atmosphere of Man of Medan, either alone or with friends, with online 2-player shared story multiplayer. That's really awesome. That's a really cool idea. Or offline couch co-op modes with up to 5 players, which would be perfect for movie night.
Get them to send you 2 copies so we could test out this multiplayer.
That's a good question. I wonder if it's one of those if you both have to own the game, or if it's like a it takes 2 situation. I don't know. But there you go. That's a surprise release. So Bandai Namco, you get my thumbs up for that move. Always nice to get a little surprise. What do we got in Europe? I'll do it. You want to give me the jingle, Josh?
What are the next European masterpieces? Let's find out with Nickit's sweet releases.
Thank you, Josh. Now let me see if I can do it as good as Deux does. We have the European Switch eShop releases for May 4th, the year of our Lord, 2023. And I will try to mispronounce some of these for you. 100 Animalese, Amaze, Arcade Archives, Tecmo Knight, Chernobyl Origins, Color Pals, Dig Deep. This is a lot harder than I think. Dormitory Love, Fortress S.
Wrong.
Gruda, Ola Reversi, as Nicky Hill would say, in Inverse City, Jandu Soft Games Bundle Volume 1, Japanese Escape Games, The Prison Underground. You know, I love an escape room because I am Nicky Hill. Loud, My Road to Fame, Magic Pen Tracing Book, Menzuki, Area Maze Search, Maya and the Dragon Princess, Minabo, A Walk Through Life, Minute Funracer, No Place Like Home, Nuclear Blaze, or Blase, Pathfinder's Memories, Piano for Kids, Pixel Paint 2, Space Gladiators, Super Dungeon Maker, Terra Flame, The Companion, Tozihua Knight, Dracula's Revenge,
Dark Metamorphosis!
Urbex City Builder, Varney Lake.
Oh, we got one of those.
I'm giving you a chance because you made the joke last week. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's somewhere here.
And Weeping Willow, that's the last game. But Varney Lake, let's talk about Varney Lake.
Yeah, I would love to talk about it.
Know what I mean?
Hey, there we go. First comment comes from Currybo. I would like to check out Super Dungeon Maker. I'll save it for later in the year. I've heard it's okay. Yeah, I'll do it. Pokemon news. The Pokedex. Nintendo and Pokemon Company licensed a toy version of the Pokedex back when, well, they did it multiple times, but back when Pokemon just started and the cartoon first aired, they released a toy Pokedex.
Shut up. I don't care.
And I, of course, went out to the store and bought it right away because I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Turns out Nintendo didn't want it to release. There was an interview on the Johto Substack from with Chris Nicolella, the former senior game producer at Tiger Electronics and Hasbro Toys. And he said, getting this thing released was a pain in the ass because of Nintendo. Quote, the process was very difficult from several aspects. While we were awarded the Pokemon license, we didn't get much help from Nintendo. In fact, they didn't like us very much and didn't see the value in expanding the Pokemon brand into the toy market. They felt that our toy product line would take away sales from the Game Boy game, which wasn't the case at all. That's so old school Nintendo. It hurts. Nintendo very much used to be like that, and it's so stupid. Be like, Mattel's like, let's make the Pokedex from the show a toy people can buy. And Nintendo's like, no, they're going to see that and they won't buy the Game Boy game and they won't buy the Game Boy. No, it's so, I don't know how they thought that. It's so dumb. I focused on the Pokedex because it looked cool and it was in every episode. He says, I had my art team come up with a simple 2-frame animation of each of the 151 Pokemon characters. That turned out to be a big mistake and almost killed the entire toy. When Nintendo saw the screen animations, they freaked out and said we couldn't do that and it was too close to the Game Boy. We disagreed and said the toy needed it, but no, they would not let us move forward. Nintendo of America was on our side, as was 4Kids Production, the cartoon company. And for almost 6 months, the project was on hold. I was so frustrated. I didn't even want to work on it anymore. But finally, we had a big meeting with all the licensed parties involved, myself and the owner of Tiger in the meeting. The meeting did get a little heated, but we finally came up with a solution. We had to again promise that this was not a game element in the Pokedex, and the 2-frame animations of each Pokemon needed to be removed. And a senior manager from Pokemon's art team had to design each Pokemon graphic for us. So they had to constantly explain, listen, these are little pixel animations. This is not a game. You just look at the Pokedex and you see a 2-frame animation of a Pokemon we're talking about for each entry. And even then, Pokemon Company and Nintendo were like, no, we do the artwork for it. And they were like, fine. So then the Pokedex released. And like I said, I bought it. And you know what? I never thought once, I am never playing a Game Boy again. Because it's not a game. It's just an information. It's like a dictionary for Pokemon. So dumb. I don't know how Nintendo thought that. But thankfully, that worked out. And Nintendo
we still have Pokemon today, thankfully.
We do. The #1 franchise in the world. Guybones says that is wild. I remember playing with that Pokedex from time to time, but obviously it's not going to give you hours of entertainment like a Game Boy. I think animations did make it to the final product, maybe not Tigers. The toy itself looked really good as a Pokedex prop, and being able to look up any Pokemon at any time felt substantial, though it wasn't really in reality. Yeah, when I watched the cartoon, if I saw a Pokemon I didn't know and they mentioned the name, I would look it up in the Pokedex, and that was cool. And then, that was that. That was it. You never sat there and really like played with it. There's no way it could take the place of a Game Boy. Typical old school Nintendo.
Not gonna lie, I'm sweating a little bit.
One more. Oh no, 2 more. We announced the nominees for the World Video Game Hall of Fame, but now we know the inductees. So let me remind you. The potential or the nominees were. This has a list of nominees, right? Oh, God. I thought I had it. Yeah, here we go. The nominees were Barbie Fashion Designer, Computer Space, The Last of Us, Wii Sports, Age of Empires, Angry Birds, Call of Duty 4, FIFA, GoldenEye, NBA 2K, Quake, and Wizardry. And now we have the winners. Your actual inductees for 2023 are... You playing both at once?
Not on purpose.
Oh, wait. Would you like to play another song at the same time?
That's how you pause it.
Barbie Fashion Designer, The Last of Us, Wii Sports, and Computer Space. Those are your inductees. So GoldenEye not in this year. Wii Sports in.
At least we got the Barbie Fashion Designer over GoldenEye. Yeah, that's the one that when everyone talks about the games that they remember growing up, it's always that. It's never GoldenEye. I've never heard anyone mention GoldenEye.
To be fair,
here we go.
Barbie Fashion Designer is a very notable release. It was the beginning of like a whole audience or a push for a new audience and respect of that audience. So it is worthy of recognition, and being an inductee, GoldenEye also is as well. It shouldn't be a one or the other. They should both be in there. So, but GoldenEye could be, and in all likelihood will be, just not this year. So there you go.
Award shows are BS. They're bull shovel.
Currybo says the Wii Sports theme jingle still randomly plays in my head all these years later. I mean, all of us. Yeah, it's a great song. Boom, 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 boom. Our last top story announced literally right before the podcast. Nintendo's doing this. I think it's the first time they've ever done this. Could be wrong. Feel free to correct me. Nintendo is finally acting like their games matter. Right before The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom comes out, Nintendo is hosting a live stream to celebrate the launch of Tears of the Kingdom. So May 11th, beginning at 9:45 p.m. New Jersey time, 9:45. There will be a Treehouse live presentation featuring gameplay from The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And following Treehouse Live, stay tuned for more live stream content counting down to the release of Tears of the Kingdom. This is what we like, Nintendo.
Thank you.
Be excited about your games launching. This is going to be watched by a whole bunch of people. This is great because what are we doing? We're all going to be waiting for the damn game to come out. Now, while we're waiting for the game to come out, everybody knows the last hours are the hardest. Now you can put this stream on and celebrate with Nintendo that the game's coming out. This is a great idea.
It'll be like New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
You, Link, are the hero.
Dick Clark will not be there because he's been dead for a while. Ryan Seacrest, I don't think he'll be there, but who knows? But yeah, I think this is a great idea. I'm not looking for it to be anything, like mind blowing, but it's awesome to know Nintendo's like, hey, we got a big game coming out. Let's put on a live stream for fans and let's celebrate the game's arrival. Great. Love it. All about it. Good job, Nintendo. 10 Donuts says, should be fun unless you look at the chat. That will probably be a nightmare. If there's a spoiler, you will hear it among other horrors. Never use the chat. I agree. Minimize chat on any live YouTube thing. It's the first thing I do. So minimize chat. You will be so close to playing the game. You don't want it spoiled there. So get in on that live stream. Minimize the chat right away. Just enjoy the stream for what it is. This is cool. This is cool. So that's awesome to hear. I'll be tuning in because I'm going to cover it, but I'm excited to check it out. And we won't spoil things for you. Don't worry. That's that. We did it. Good Lord. Dude. What have you been playing?
I played some Fortnite with the boys. We've been having kind of like a little lull, I'd say, as far as wins in Fortnite. We've been pretty light.
It's been sweaty out there.
Yes, that's the word. But yeah, still having fun doing that. And I played some more Dead Island 2. I managed to beat the game with a second character. So I did the natural thing and started with a third character. So here's the thing. My first character was like the average as far as like abilities. And then my second character was really weak as far as toughness, but very agile. So she could like zip around and stuff. And then now I'm playing as like the big tank fireman character. So there's not an easy, normal, or difficult setting for this game, but I almost feel like it matters which character you pick. Like if you pick the weak, agile character, then that is, to me, would be hard mode.
Yeah,
that's the one that I just played through, and it was significantly harder, more challenging. Now I'm playing. Now the first two characters I used the dodge ability. You get either dodge or block, depending what you want to do.
Oh, dodge.
Yeah, dodge obviously is what I wanted from the beginning. Now any character, no matter if they're a tank or if they're really agile, can do either. It's just they start out with one or the other based on their character. So I started playing as this tank, and I had to learn how to block. And I was like, oh, this is I knew block was in the game, but I just wasn't really interested. So I had to play as block for the first part of the game, and on this third playthrough, and it's actually been a lot of fun. It is a lot easier to time the blocks so that you can get counterattacks. When you're dodging, I feel like it's a little more conservative as far as hitting that sweet spot when when you need to dodge out of the way. But I still probably would recommend to first timers to play play however you like. But if you're more into like dodging and agile stuff, I had a little bit more fun playing it that way. But I must say, I've been enjoying playing it this new way. It's kind of forced me to play it a different way.
Yeah.
Considering I've put so much time in this game already and beat it twice with the other characters. Now, I spoke a little bit last week about how it doesn't matter what character you pick as far as the story, because it's all so bad and shoehorned together, without much thought. And there's as my first time through the game, I didn't notice a lot of the, I don't want to say flaws, but I want to say like same environments. You know what I mean? Like they really dress up the environments to make you not realize that you're going through a mansion that like you went through already in a different part of the game.
Yeah.
So there still is that kind of, they're using the same assets as far as buildings and stuff. But like the first time through, I didn't even notice, because they do a really great job of just, like I said, dressing them all up to make them different. Now that I played the game like twice and going through a third time, I'm realizing that it's not really as creative of a game world as I thought. I mean, it really is great, but you know, they were expecting you to put 20 hours in, not 100.
Yeah.
So so there's that, and then just the variety of zombies is terrible, and I'm not even talking about the apex predators this time. I'm talking about just the regular run-of-the-mill zombies. I don't know why games can't get this right. Like they'll just if you see one zombie, you'll see 5 more of the same one, and it doesn't happen all the time, but like tons of games have been like that for years. Like I remember GTA used to be like, why does everybody look the same? And like it wasn't a big deal 20 years ago. But now it's kind of a big deal. Like you can't make like tons of different characters, or like they'll have like one character in the beginning of the game that like is a nobody character, does not even part of the story. It's just somebody you see get killed, and then like you play through the story or whatever. And that exact character model, you're not supposed to know because no one's going to look at this dead body, but I did because I put 100 hours into this game. Is like a huge character that comes in at the end of the game and like has speaking lines and a whole bit and like a side mission, and it's the same exact person that gets killed. It's like, what, you can't just do a different model? Like how hard is it to do
what
a
you wish
different
for.
model?
They'll start using AI to make all different faces, and they'll be like, this is what you wanted, people.
Well, I mean, maybe the AI can do it because
look,
I don't want
AI can do it.
I don't want AI to write the story for me. But like if it takes AI to make characters look different, so I'm not like killing triplets for the 5th time.
But
like
that's the thing. It takes away artists and animators' jobs then.
Well, then have artists and animators do it. Like they put 12 years into this game. You can't like, how long does it take to make a person? Or
they spent 11 of those years trying to figure out how to make the doors close.
We had that one Rainbow Six game, and you just scanned your dad's face, and he was in the game. Why can't how hard is that?
And a doll's face too, baby doll's face.
Yes,
too.
that was freaky. But
what
like
a duo! What a duo!
It was and that is one of the.
I think that's my best gaming moment. Just
Isn't that? I was about to say it's one of the most fun and greatest gaming memories I have. And it's like not even about the game. It's about the stupid stuff we did to even start the game.
Yeah.
But yeah. So again, obviously I love Dead Island 2. It's not a day one purchase for everybody, and I would say wait for it to go to at least $40. But I'm certainly getting my money's worth out of it. I'm still having fun playing it. But like I am now that I'm so deep into it, and I know every inch of this game for the most part. I'm starting to see where it's not like this flawless. I mean, I never thought it was flawless, but like, I'm starting to see a lot of the cracks and stuff in it. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun when the drops in price and we start playing multiplayer. I cannot wait because it's games like that are exponentially better with friends and buddies. So.
I'm just and I don't mean this as a knock at it.
You usually don't.
I'm impressed.
Usually don't.
I'm amazed that you can beat the game and go back in right away, and beat the game and then go back in right away.
It's this particular game. Like I can't do it with every game anymore. I used to be a little bit more like that, but can't really do that much anymore. But there's something about Dying Light and Dead Island that really spoke to me from the very beginning to the point where I just wanted to be immersed in that world. Like I just love the game world. I love the way they did I love zombies anyway, but I love the way they did the zombie action. And
well, thanks to Crazy Colonel, you are now actually immersed in the world.
That artwork was so great. And like I told you, I know we were joking, but like that would be a great enemy if they were like 2 children zombies in a trench coat or something. That would be so great.
Him and I had a great talk about that picture because I love his artwork all the time. I don't think he's done a bad piece of art. He would disagree. But that one in particular had a little something, like a little bit extra to the artwork, a little sheen to it, where I was like, this is a really special one. Like the style and the quality of the art, I was like, this feels really good. And I believe he felt the same way.
I saw it on his Instagram.
He posted on his Instagram and he said something along the lines of like the last few, whatever, he wasn't feeling, but this one he really liked. And we had a whole conversation about like, but we were talking about Tiny Toons because there were different animation studios that did Tiny Toons. As was the case when we were kids. A whole bunch of studios would do different episodes. And every once in a while you would get episodes that looked bad comparatively, and other ones would look fantastic. And him and I were talking about two of the animation studios that did Tiny Toons that we think did standout animations, because we were talking about his picture that he drew, and he's like, he named one of the studios at Tiny Toons, and he's like, this is my moment, my studio moment. And that's how the conversation started. But he had his moment where it just whatever, it all led to a piece of art that it's just got a little something extra, a little something special, and it's great. It's great. So again, Crazy Colonel, we love your art all the time, but this one in particular, man,
really,
something about it.
It really was awesome and
worthy of Webster's.
It was cool to see the fact that he drew me wearing the main characters, like the box art characters, like outfit and everything too. It's like really great.
Consummate professional. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else really to say about Dead Island 2 at the moment. RMC, what have you been playing this week?
Thanks for asking. Let me tell you. I played Fortnite, having lots of fun. The Star Wars stuff is in there now, enjoying that. Love force pushing stuff at people. Like that the lightsabers are back. It's great. Always great. Always having fun. I also finally started something that I said for a while now that I should. I started Citizen Sleeper. I got tired of looking at the game and feeling bad and being like, I always wanted to play it. It's won so many awards. I've had the opportunity to play it, and I just get into it. So I changed it. I now started playing Citizen Sleeper. It is intimidating, but I am enjoying it. It's great. I'm really enjoying it from a story perspective. It's intimidating from a mechanics perspective because it was more. It's a narrative adventure. It's a visual novel, but there's more like board game element to it than I thought. So you have like the space station where you're living. Basically, you're a sleeper and you're a citizen on this space station. You escaped from where you were. You sold your body, most of it, to this corporation. And that's how you've become a sleeper, which means you are part of your old self, but you're not really a full self anymore. And you had to escape because, well, I don't want to get into spoilers, but you had to escape. You're on this space station, and you're trying to make a living there. You're trying to find out about what happened in your old life. You're trying to find your next move, all this stuff. So you visit different places on this space station. It's just like an above, it's an overhead view of the space station. You rotate the space station to see places you can visit, like a marketplace. Or it's just icons, and you click. And then when you click on the icons, you have things that you can do, like a job to make money. You can talk to a character to see what they need, all kinds of stuff that advance the story. And then you have things that are called drives, and drives are driving forces and storyline elements. So this one guy needs your help, the overall goal of finding out what's going on with you, all stuff like that. And you basically go to locations on the space station, and you spend dice to further these story points. So one is you also have energy, like you need health and you need to eat. So you need money to do that. And there's a spot on the ship where you can work a job and make money and then go buy food for energy. And these things that you go to have qualifiers. It'll be like, this activity can be repeated and it's safe. This activity can be repeated and it's risky. This activity can't be repeated and it's dangerous, but you can get a really good outcome. And you have different dice. You have a selection of dice that you use to roll, but it's not like you roll a 6, you win. It's dice are like all white, all yellow, or half white and half yellow. And all yellow means if you use that to try and, let's say, make money for this one job, 50% chance it'll be a good outcome, 50% chance it'll be a neutral outcome. Then you have the white yellow dice, and that's 25% chance good outcome, 25% chance neutral outcome, 50% chance bad outcome. And then there's just white dice that are 50% neutral, 50% bad. So depending on, the risk of the activity, you want to use the dice that'll have a better chance of getting you something good, or the dice that have a less chance of turning out bad. So far, every roll I've done has worked out for me, which is great. I know it's going to fall apart at some point, but that's not a mechanic I was expecting going into the game, so it made me nervous. It's not it seems like it's hard to understand at first, but it's not once you get into it. I think the game overly
What
explains
rules
it,
you-
to tell you the truth. And then you get points to further the story. So like each, like let's say the marketplace where you make money, if you do 4 successful rolls there, each roll will fill up a quarter of this wheel, and then you've completed that part of the story, and it takes you to the next part. So that's how you further the story. So you've picked the pieces of the story you want to do along with the things that you have to do. So that's how it's played. And the story is really interesting. I'm a big sci-fi guy. I love this kind of like you're a human, but you're not a human, like a Ghost in the Shell kind of thing, or like a,
replicants.
Yeah, from Blade Runner, that kind of thing. So I always dig that idea. And there's a whole like underside to the game where like every time you come out of sleep, you feel connected to some kind of like network. And it's like you don't know if it's a computer network or a beyond network or something. And you can explore that network as well through different keys. So there's all kinds of really interesting stuff. Story-wise, 10 out of 10 so far. Very intriguing and interesting. The gameplay was just intimidating at first. So, but I'm playing that, and I like it. I'm also playing Nuclear Blaze. Nuclear. It's pronounced.
Do
nuclear.
I have to be?
Nuclear Blaze is from, as I said last week, the developers of Dead Cells. Nuclear Blaze is awesome. It's a side scroller, and it's about being a firefighter. Except
The game
being
is fun.
Thank you, Reggie. It's about you're a firefighter who's at some location putting out a fire, and you stumble upon some weird facility. And you go in the facility and you see there's fires in the facility. So you go deeper into the facility to put out the fires, and you discover all kinds of weird, mysterious things going on in the facility. So you're a little like chibi firefighter. You have a hose and you have a water tank. The water tank empties, but there's places to refill it, and you have to put out fires. And if you don't put them out appropriately, then you can't access new areas, or fires will restart. And it's platforming and putting out fires and collecting keys and solving little puzzles, and it's awesome. It's just fun. It feels good. It plays good. Great sound effects, great soundtrack, just a fun little diversion. It's a really cool game. I love the visual style. Got nice of cool little like retro aesthetic and like a unique use of haze lighting and stuff. It's fun. It's just really fun. Each level has a hidden cat in it, because a firefighter's job is first and foremost saving cats from fires.
Meow.
It's it's cool. Check it out. I really like it. It's not anything deep. It has more of a story than I thought, but it's not deep. You go around and shoot your fire hose. You have like a dodge roll to go through fires, like so you can jump and dodge through a fire. There's backdraft mechanics. So like you'll knock on a door and it'll be like 3, 2, 1, and then the door bursts open and a fire blasts out at you, and you have like an umbrella fire move you can do. So you shoot water out all above you to like put the fire out around you, and then you can put out the rest of the fire.
But I've seen everything.
It's cool. I really like it. It's fun. Hello? Hello? Guess not. Also, I made sure I'm allowed to talk about this. I'm playing Bat Boy. It's not National Enquirer's Bat Boy. It's about a guy with a baseball bat. This game, I've really been looking forward to it. It's a crowdsourced game or crowdfunded game. Basically, it's Mega Man. You play as Bat Boy, the titular Bat Boy.
What?
And his friends, they have like a sports club at high school. And so there's like a gymnast girl and a fencer guy and a water polo person. And they go out on the town at night to not play sports, but to protect the city. And one night, this mysterious villain comes in and transports them to another world. And they all get taken over except for Bat Boy. So Bat Boy is in this other world saving his friends. So you fight them as bosses and you knock some sense into them with the bat. They come to, and then you get one of their abilities. So it's just like Mega Man. It plays exactly like Mega Man. It has some mechanics like Shovel Knight, where things are hidden in walls, like treasure chests with gems, and you buy upgrades. There's hidden things all over, like cassettes and creatures you can find for extra bonus items. I don't think I could love this game more, because I love Mega Man. Mega Man style games are easily one of my favorite genres. The mechanics that you get from each friend once you beat them are really unique. You get like, it's not just weapons, it's grappling hooks and dash moves and the ability to breathe underwater. So it's not just new weapons for everybody. And you string those together to get around the environments in unique ways. The level designs are awesome. They're very big and there's a lot of secrets and they have some really interesting themes to them. There's a like forest level. I guess it's forest. I'm trying to think if it's jungle or forest. But the much of the level is built around a mechanic that when you go to the right, you pop up on the left side of the screen. So you climb up trees by going around like that. The music is so good. It's exactly what I want from a Mega Man game. Chip tune style, awesome, catchy tunes. They're not all energetic. Some of them are very atmospheric, but they're all great to the point that multiple levels I've stopped and stood still just to hear the music. So, because of my schedule, I didn't get to do my gameplay Friday video. I was going to do this game. So I will do it next week. But, oh, man, it's so good. If you like Mega Man games, I can't recommend this one enough. And I would say it's not as challenging as a Mega Man game. So there's that. I love the look of it. It's a very...
I'm not on the same Mega Man train
Yes.
as you are. I don't know what you'd call that style of game, platforming, action adventure with...
Yeah, it's just an action platformer, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't... It's just... I would call it a Mega Man style game. Yeah, it's great. It's great. The look, the sound, the feel, all it plays so good. The controls feel so good. Like it doesn't feel like Mega Man, but it's a game that controls really well. Everything just feels like crisp in the controls department.
Delicious.
So, if you're into Mega Man, highly recommend you keep an eye on this when it comes out, like the 24th or the 26th or something like that. And obviously, it's on Switch. And then the only other thing, this is a big step for me. So many firsts. As you know, I enjoy RPGs now. So now the whole world of RPGs is open to me. As you also know, I am a weeb. I'm a big anime fan. As you also know, I don't play games on the computer. But all these things are coming together. I am now playing Honkai Star Rail, which many of you already know about. The game in its first day was downloaded by 20 million people. This is made by the people who made Genshin Impact, another absolutely massive game. So here's stupid me. I write about games for a living. I love video games. I know this game's not coming to Switch, at least not now. And I knew the day the game was launching.
I understand.
And I was like, I'm going to get this sucker as soon as it comes out. Can't wait to play it. Raw Meat goes downstairs and make sure his PS5 is updated. Controller's charged. Good to go, baby. Launch night happens. I check on my phone, make sure it's out. It says now live. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Go downstairs, go to my PS5, go to download it. Can't find it on the shop. And I'm like, is Honkai spelled weird? Look it up online. It's not on PS5.
Wrong.
It's not on PS4 or PS5 yet. It's on PC and mobile. PS4, PS5 coming later. How I didn't know that, I don't know. I feel so embarrassed because I'm like, how do I know this game exists and that it's out today and all this stuff? And I knew it was coming to PS5, but I never found out that it wasn't out on those systems yet. So,
Not gonna lie, I'm sweating a little bit.
I had a choice: mobile or PC. Wow! I don't want to play all touchscreen if I don't have to. I would if I had to. So I got it on PC. I never play anything on PC. My laptop is good enough to play modern games. So I'm playing it on my laptop. And it feels so surreal to play a game on a laptop that's not like a side scroller. You know, it's like a game, you know, it's using everything. So it feels nice. I mean, it's fun, but I'm like sitting there and I'm so stupid because I'm like, I'm playing a computer game. Like, look at me, I'm a computer player. But
you have obviously like a real controller and stuff for it, right?
No, I'm playing keyboard and mouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the preferred way to play on PC, I guess?
I would imagine it was. So I figured I would take that route. I'm sure it controls fine with the controller, but I was like, let me do as the PC players do. So yeah, I'm walking around with WSAD.
That's weird because you were totally prepared to purchase it on the PlayStation and play with the controller. So what? I don't know.
Yeah, people on computer play with mostly the keyboard and mouse. So when in Rome, Do as the Romans do.
Okay.
I've seen
now, if
everything.
I played it that way and it wasn't working for me, I would have moved to the controller. But it's fine. I'm fine. I've played WSAD. Like that doesn't bother me. Or
It's
anything.
clearly fine because you didn't wait for the PlayStation version.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter to you. You're just happy to be be play it.
Also, just to be
Do
clear,
I have to
you didn't do anything wrong. I know you said I purchased it. It is a free game.
Oh.
It's free. There's microtransactions if you want to get stuff. It's not a pay to win thing. But
So on PlayStation, when it comes out, it'll be free. I could download this for free.
yeah, Genshin Impact's free too. Those games are free.
Oh, this is the anime weeboo RPG. Well,
yes,
peace and love,
not
enjoy
really.
it.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is anime styled and influenced, and to anyone, it looks like an anime, but it's made by a Chinese company. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'm playing.
It
doesn't matter. I'm playing.
Actually.
Honkai Star Rail. Man, if you like the look of anime style games, I mean, Genshin Impact is a gorgeous game. Honkai, I think, is even better looking. It's really nice looking. I obviously like the look of anime. It doesn't matter to me, but I can appreciate the look. So I appreciate the look of Honkai as well. It's a gorgeous game. And the animations are gorgeous. And it has those anime touches throughout the gameplay. Like when you're in your battles, you have special moves that you can use. And each special move has like a little cutscene to it, as many RPGs do. But just the way the characters move and it's shot and all of it, it feels awesome because it feels like, if you like that stuff in anime, what you see in anime. When characters in anime fight, they may have a certain moves, like Demon Slayer, for example, where he's like fire form, third whatever. And, his sword spins in a certain way and he moves a certain way. And I love that stuff. It's an anime trope, but I love it. And it just makes moves feel cooler to me. So I like seeing that in this game. But the environments are fun to explore. The combat feels really good. Battles are fun. The voice acting is so good. The voice actors in this game are so good. I said there was that other game, After Image, the other week where the voice actor, one of them was good and one of them was taking me out of it. With this, the voice actors fit their characters. The voice actors are doing a great job. I haven't heard anybody that isn't good so far. The story is really intriguing to me. Your character, I don't know what's going on with me. You're on a space station and you don't know your life before. And these two characters brought in and they brought you into this place and left you there. MomBrain is here. There they are. Oh, she doesn't like it. So yeah, it's awesome. And here's what I can say. The game is free to play. If you're on the fence or whatever, give it a go.
It's free.
If you got a PC that plays games or a mobile device, it's free. Give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. I mean,
It's free.
I was so mad that I had to go to bed early last night because I wanted to play it all day long. I was like, I got to go to bed early because I got to get up early and I got to do the podcast. So I did the right thing. I went to bed, but I laid there on the couch for an hour being like irrationally angry that I wasn't playing the game. So because MomBrain and Deux both know I hate going to bed. So
I think she wants to come up.
Well, if she wants to, she can. MomBrain, what'd you play this week? Oh, you got to talk into this thing.
Merge Mansion.
How's it going?
Great. I feel like my microphone. Thank you. I feel like my microphone cover is not as fluffy as this one.
I've got a light breath, maybe.
That's what it is. I was just going to say that. Is that it, MomBrain? Good?
Yeah.
You staying with us for the rest of the show? I mean, we're already done with what we played. It's questions and we're out.
Yeah.
So nice to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to be seen.
I did the dishes.
I know. Thank you so kindly.
I weighed doing it before bed last night and then going to bed, or doing it when I woke up, and I was like, I'm getting up early, so I'll do it then. So I hope that was okay. Please don't beat me, is what I'm saying.
What?
No, I know. I told you I'd do it by the end of last night, and then I was like, I gotta go to bed. Questions. Send your questions to GoNinPod.
Where?
GoNinPod@gmail.com. They can be about Nintendo video games in general, or whatever the hell you want. NicoDarunia says, whatever happened to John the Savage? I believe you mentioned that you cannot talk openly about what he's doing, but can you say anything about him? It would be really cool to hear him on a podcast. Just once again, is he even alive? Well, let me be clear and let me be not clear. Let me be clear first. John the Savage is 1,000,000% fine. I would say better than ever. John the Savage and I are still great friends. Nothing has changed that at all. I would say probably even better friends. John the Savage does not live locally, so that's why they are not on the show. And I think that's where I should stop, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is bad. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is unfortunate. Like there's no like deep dark secret or like something bad happened or like something went wrong. None of that at all. I know we're talking very secretive about that, and that's out of respect for the person. They have a story to tell that they can tell if they want to, should they show up. And it's not a case of them not wanting to be on the show. Like I said, it's just they're not local. That's all there is to that. So it's not my story to tell, but it is a very important and great story. And perhaps one day you will hear it. But I'm sure they will be happy to hear that you asked about them, and I will let them know later today. I promise everything is everything is MomBrain, back me up. Everything is 100% fine. There's no secret bad blood or anything like that. Like everything's all good.
Absolutely.
We also have a Patreon question. Hey, Deux, did you know that you can join the Patreon
for $1?
For $1, as Billy says. Joshua, last week you put a Simpsons question. I said we just answered it. I said if you ask another question, I promise I'll ask it this week. And here we are.
That was a really great story.
Josh asks, "Hey, podcast crew, when returning to finish a game after a long break, do you pick up the game from where you left off, or do you start over from the beginning? I have done both. For me, I think it depends on what type of game it is." Great question, Josh. Deux, you look like you had something to say.
I have to agree with what they said. Most of the time, for me, it's no. I have a very tough time coming back to a game and, trying to relearn it. And then even if you do relearn it, you're already like at a halfway point or somewhere where it's like a little more difficult than it was in the beginning of the game. So it could be. So for me, it's mostly gameplay wise, because I can't wrap my head around like getting into it again halfway through the game. Very rarely is it ever like a storyline thing. But I don't know, once or twice have I been able to come back and actually pick up where I left off. I couldn't give you examples, but most of the time I've got to restart from the beginning.
I can't give you examples either, but the opposite way. I know I have started over, but it's very few and far between where I've started over or had to because I was just so lost. I'd say 9 times out of 10, even if a lot of time passes, I can go back in and I'll spend an hour or two relearning how to play and then figure out where I'm at and sometimes jog my memory with like a map online or something and be like, oh, this is what I was doing. But I've said this so many times over the years. Every game needs a feature like Dragon Quest. Oh God, what was it? 11? Whatever. I don't know what Dragon Quest it is. Let me look it up. Dragon Quest Switch. Beep beep.
Depending on the game, but like I don't remember games after I've finished them really because I think I'm so nervous about the gameplay. So if there's a lot of story, sometimes I like miss it because I'm so anxious about my ability to play. So I think more often than not, starting from the beginning would be my go-to. But Anastasia Beaverhausen said what I was thinking is games restart, but a book, you pick them back up from where you left off, which I think is I would do the same thing.
The game I was trying to think of was Dragon Quest 11. Whenever you start up Dragon Quest 11, it gives you a recap of what you were doing, where you were going, and what you need to do. Like it's a little and it's told like a TV episode. It's like last time in Dragon Quest, you were on your way to whoever and you had to talk to so-and-so. You're on this road and you're on your way. And I'm like, so great. This is a great idea. Obviously, that wouldn't be applicable to every game, but so many games could use some form of that to to jog players' memories, and then they can obviously do something similar for controls. A little. It'd be like, you haven't played in 4 months. Would you like a quick controls tutorial? You say yes or no, and you do it. So that would be great. But yeah, I know it happened. Happened to me with a game not too long ago, where I had to spend like an hour relearning, and then I saw the game through to the end. It was on the Switch. I remember doing it, but I don't remember what the game was. So that's that. There you go. You heard our opinion. So we've done both, but we have ways we would more often do it. So it's the way life is when you're an adult. Sometimes you don't have, even when your kids are busy too. Sometimes you don't have time to play, and you're like, I'll get to it next week. And then next week becomes next month, and then next month becomes next year. So it happens. It happens. We're not doing music today because MomBrain just got here. But
bagpipes.
I don't know.
My apologies.
I don't know if we'll get a rumor or anything. Did you think anything would pop up?
Something
even on a Friday? Really?
Something came across my desk. Yeah,
wow.
Something really, really important. So.
Oh wait, Optimus Josh said, "Oh man, I had a second part to the question." Sorry to interrupt the rumor.
Was there? And I missed it? If there was, tell me. We'll do it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's where my message ends.
No.
It's my mistake. You keep working on getting that news. Yeah, Josh, if you write the question or the second part, I will gladly bring it up.
All right. Well, Deux Views. It's never news. Rumor of the week, starring Deux Michaels. Ladies and gentlemen, Deux Michaels here, where I am privy to most, if not every single video game rumor that can possibly come across a desk. This week, actually, this week's a little different. This week, it's not a rumor. It's actually true. I got this story true. And I can't reveal my source, but you'll be very, very interested to find out that. So earlier when we were talking about Reggie tweeting at that, who was it?
Software pirate.
Human and a gamer,
Yes.
software pirate, and he gave that Taken line. What we didn't realize is that Reggie actually did go to Paris, and he murdered a whole bunch of sex traffickers out there. He was looking for the guy who pirated the game, couldn't find him.
Were they trying to unionize? Is that?
That's exactly why. Yes, they wanted.
It is so funny you bring this up because there's a point I wanted to make when we were talking about that, and I forgot. I saw an article that was trying to argue that Reggie was threatening this person with death. Because they said the line from Taken, they're like, and Reggie's, this is clearly a death threat from Reggie, and not saying it as a joke. Like, the article was not saying it as a joke, and I was like, oh, what?
Well, this rumor's not a joke either. I don't see why the.
Oh, well, yeah, but we didn't know that. At
I mean,
the time,
the rumor piece was the unionizing piece. I mean, I had heard that. I mean, you have the sources. I just.
Hi, Tarsius. Tarsius says, "Is Reggie a Pinkerton?" That's the enemies in.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead, yes, thank you. I couldn't remember. It was on the tip of my tongue. Maybe. Second part of the question, Optimus Josh says, "What's your opinion on Milhouse having 2 spaghetti meals in one day?" Dude, I'm sure you have an opinion on it. How great is that? Because their first question was Simpsons related.
Yeah, that's a little much. I mean, for Milhouse, it works. It works, but not for me.
Stand up for yourself, Poindexter. You got the dud. So that's it, everybody. MomBrain, thanks for joining us for the last 15 minutes, maybe. Your kind of podcast. We'll do a little after show.
Let me tell you, it was a wild day at school. So
also, I guess Friday's the day to do it. Thanks for all the regulars and the newcomers that were in there with us today. We're glad our schedule worked out for you, and thanks for being a part of our schedule today. Next week it'll be a regular day.
Before we close, do you remember last week we were talking about playing Spud?
Yeah.
Well, today, I brought out a social skills group, and they've been having trouble at recess because everybody wants to play tag, but of course the age old, nobody wants to be it, you know? And I was like, you know what? I have a great game to teach you all. You're going to learn the game Spud. So I taught them how to play Spud, and they thought it was great. They thought it was fantastic.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Yep.
You're
It was
right,
great.
Barry. You're right.
It was great.
Well, everybody, get out there and play Spud. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
jamming. After show, we'll do whatever you want. Yes, Pinkertons are known as Union Busters as well.
Oh. How did you know that they were the bad guys in RDR2? Did you
I played
that?
that game for a long time. I just didn't like it. Yeah. Yep. I play and watch things to form an opinion, as you know, to a degree that I guess most would not. But
well, I love how. Well, whatever. I won't say.
No, go. It's after show.
If it's a TV show, you insist on finishing it. But if it's a video game, you won't finish it.
Not true. I always insist on finishing the first season.
But you didn't. Yeah, but you didn't finish. Okay.
So first season of a TV show is like, well, let's be generous, 8 to 12 hours. I probably put 15 hours into Red Dead, maybe.
Man.
So
hey, not for you, man.
What
not
about a book?
You haven't finished Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
That's right. I haven't.
Yeah.
Two books I tried to read and did not finish. One, the one my mom spoiled for me, and two, the Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And I just looked at it when I was cleaning up my office, and I was like,
I'll never finish that.
no, I didn't say that. I looked at it and I was like, the desire's there. And then this is honestly, Vatch, I just cleaned up my office. So I did just see the book. And then I thought,
which is sitting. I mean, I could probably see it from here. It is sitting. You have to walk past it to get in to your office. Point?
So I know it's there.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, cleaning your office, it's not like you unearthed it. It's like out in the open. For you
but
to
I
see.
moved it. Okay. It's not out in the open.
You touched it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my whole point was when I moved it, I was like, I do want to see what it's all about. I like the story. I just didn't like all the.
Are you going to start back from the beginning?
No, I remember exactly where I was because there's being staying there. I remember the two people hanging out. I remember to talk about how disheveled the guy's apartment was. I remember all of it.
I hate hearing how things look. I don't like that. I don't want any descriptions
for real?
At all. Ugh. It's the worst because then you get a real clear picture in your head of what's happening, and who would want that?
Like, I mean,
it's not like we spend time teaching kids to make a movie in their mind when they're reading.
Well, this is after show, so we can do all this. But come on, tell me how the room looks. I don't need to know like every corner of what it looks like.
You might not need to know.
Like, do I need to know that there's a mushroom growing in this one little windowsill in this corner? If I never hear about the mushroom again, no. Then
what
I don't
does
need
that
to hear
tell you about this character's life, though?
Nothing.
It didn't tell a mushroom growing in their windowsill doesn't tell you anything about a character.
It was outside. It's a mushroom. They grow outside. What more do I want to know?
To me, it sounds like this person's a slob or something. There's something gross about them where they're not cleaning up their home. Like there's something like
their priorities are maybe
tells me a little bit about
guys.
them already.
This mushroom thing, by the way, is made up. That's not in the book, but it's just an example.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, because even that example that you used can still tell me something about a character. You're just not the type of reader that wants to hear all that flowery crap. You want them to be like, this guy was dirty and gross and disheveled. That's it.
Got it. Yeah.
Because we don't need then like.
No, you could be like, this guy's gross. He's wearing a tattered jacket and old shoes with holes in them. Got it. Done. This jacket looks like it came from a thrift shop and it smells like a flower that was from 20 years ago. And it's got the color of the earrings my mother used to wear.
I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting.
But anyway, I thought to myself, I should do what our friend Angela does and go for the audiobook. That's what I was going to do.
You could use my Libby if you want. Listen to it. Because audiobooks are expensive.
Is audiobook.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was thinking I should do.
It'll be a while before
I don't know. I'm going to give it a try while I'm working.
Like an audiobook? Like I think
with an audiobook I would be more comfortable. I also don't like reading because I'm never comfortable. I can never get comfortable. So at least with an audiobook I'm on my walk too. So why not? I already hate it. So let's go.
I know that you're really good at multitasking. Like you can update the site and chat with us and stuff. But like, with an audiobook, I think it would be different.
That's the thing. I would have to try to find out. I don't know, because it could be like when I was listening to Critical Role, the Dungeons and Dragons podcast when they're playing, I was so enthralled by it that I couldn't work because I either had to stop because I really wanted to pay attention or stop listening because I couldn't pay attention as much. So I don't know. I've never done an audiobook, so I'll find out.
Yeah, sometimes I like audiobooks, but sometimes like a couple minutes will go by and I'll be like, oh my God, I've been in my own head, not thinking about the book. And then I'll like rewind a little bit.
I've done that.
But yeah, it all depends kind of my situation.
If I'm cleaning, like that's a good time. Or like yard work, that's a good time. Obviously in the
when
car.
When you're cleaning, it's a good time to listen to one thing and one thing only.
Gloria Estefan, Miami Sound Machine.
Miami Sound Machine. That's
1,
right.
2, 3, 4. Come on, baby, say you love me.
All right, everybody. That's all we got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your weekend. Hang out with friends and family. Rest, relax. You deserve it. Play some games. 1 week till Zelda, everybody. We're almost there. You can do it.
Hang in there.
We'll be talking about Zelda next podcast.
We will. We really will.
That's great.
We really did. That's all we got, everybody. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. We are